From Darling Stadium, September the 25th, 2015, it's Friday Night Football on LSC, your local sports channel. Hello, everybody. Paul Rowe along with Frank Edgar, Bob Hintz on the field, and Brent Musgrove taking care of the stats over here to my left. Tonight, it's the 2-2 Kecoughtan Warriors against the 4-0 Phoebus Phantoms here at Darling Stadium on a rainy night. 4-0 Phoebus, 2-2 Kecoughtan. Talk to me about Phoebus, 4-0. How many people expected them to be 4-0 at this time?
Well, I was going to tell you the records probably mean very little tonight. This is the Battle of Woodland Road. It's a great annual matchup in the peninsula, the old Peninsula District.
Yeah.
Goodness knows what leagues these teams actually are in now. I think they're both still playing the Virginia High School League, but that's as far as I can go.
Do we know what conference they're in?
No, they make up those names every year, so I don't know. But I can tell you this, Phoebus has beaten everybody they face. They've only given up 13 points. And yet they get very little press this year. I find it very curious. And we were talking beforehand whether the drop to conference or level 3, whatever that means they get less press. I think they've played some teams they probably should have beaten. They've beaten them. They've done everything they're supposed to do. They've only, again, allowed 13 points. They're playing as well as they've ever played, and I think we'll see that they'll show their wares out here tonight. You know, they have a lot of veterans in this team. See, Jamari Becknell is a terrific running back. It's his second year as the main back for Phoebus, and then, of course, the quarterback, Justin Wright. And there's a lineman I know pretty well, Kai Carson, who's a terrific young man, a senior this year. He's played for 4 years at Phoebus and a two-way starter for the Phantoms. So we'll see some really good talent tonight from the Phantoms as we do every year. Of course, the coach has done an excellent job over there on Ireland Street and has maintained the quality program that they've had for years and years. So it's going to be an interesting end of the season. Right now, I think we're going to see a wonderful game tonight between these two Woodland Road rivals.
Well, I'm hoping to. I'm always hoping to see a good game. And anytime we have any of the Hampton schools, normally we have a really, really good game. And as you alluded to, that Phoebus team has really, really been a good team year after year after year after year. And, the coaches at Phoebus, who are the coaches at Kecoughtan? Previous coaches from Phoebus.
Right.
The players at each place, they've played against each other. These are guys that know each other. They know what they're expecting tonight, and like you said, it's a rivalry game, and it better be a good one. It's my first game this year, so it better be a good one, right?
Well, welcome back. This is a Phoebus kind of night. A little bit of wet ground. Their ground game has been terrific all year, and so it'll be fun to watch them tonight. And to be honest, the weather actually has cleared a little bit for us, wind blowing. And
earlier this evening, we kind of looked at the weather, and it looked like things were going to be really kind of tough tonight. But like you said, you mentioned this a few minutes ago, it really has broken a little bit here, and it looks nice. So, hopefully we'll have a decent crowd out here tonight.
Looks like we got the Phoebus coach down there now. Let's send it down to the guys, see what they have.
Thanks, guys. I got Jeremy Blunt here. Jeremy, you've been at Phoebus a long time. You started over there as defensive linebacker and matriculated back, and now you're the head coach. But last week, or a couple weeks ago, you played a Bethel team where the coach was your former principal. All the kids knew him as the principal. That had to be kind of surreal.
Absolutely. I mean, bittersweet, Coach Beverly, William Beverly, Mr. Beverly, great guy, and he's the one that actually hired me. So he's been a positive person over top of me during his time as principal at Phoebus, and nothing changed as him being now the head coach over at Bethel. So, it was bittersweet seeing him across the sideline. Yeah, and it was, but a couple, 3 overtimes, and you guys proved that you're the winner. So that had to make you feel good. It was a dogfight that night, and that's what happens. Us Hampton teams play each other, we got to always come prepared and ready to fight. Right. Now, it seems like it's always the offense that kind of lags behind the defense. You being a defensive player yourself, you're really high on your defense this year. Talk a little bit about that group. Absolutely. The offense is going to put people in the stands, but, at the end of the day, the defense is the reason why you go to a championship or you don't go to a championship, or you're successful throughout the regular season. Our guys this year, they're fighting really hard on the defense end. They're experienced, they're tuned in. Most of those guys played here as 8th graders, so they understand the philosophy and the scheme and what we're trying to accomplish week in and week out defensively. And then we have some guys that stand out. As a unit all together, that whole group, in my opinion. That whole group is worth talking about. But we got some guys that stand out, of course, and I know you guys would like to highlight some guys. Me personally, I would like to talk about the defense in general, but
Well, that's okay, because that's what you need to do as a coach. We want to talk about a couple guys that have come and kind of stuck their head up a little bit. But you, as your defensive mindedness, do you think that has helped your defense?
Well, absolutely. I have an aggressive mentality, and when it comes to the football field, we want to really push defensively. And so, we got guys like Andre Smith that's been playing since his sophomore year. He actually started 3 games as a sophomore and was a standout player for us last year, leading the team in sacks, along with Harry Lewis. I want to say Harry may have got him by half a sack last year, so they went neck and neck, so he's back this year, and he's playing really good football for us.
I'm looking on your roster, you got a lot of seniors. You got more seniors in offense you have on defense, but you got about 8 seniors on defense, but you got a couple of linebackers that you're really high on, Horn and Ryder. Talk about Horn.
Absolutely. The roster's pretty stacked, and it shows a lot of seniors, but, we're very young. And those 2 guys that you just named, Shadarius Horn and Peyton Ryder, they'll be here for a few more years. So I'm really excited about those 2 guys. They anchor our defense. They get in the calls, they make the adjustments up front for us, and those guys fly around and they'll put a hat on you. And we really love their physical play out there.
Well, the Ryder, and this is what we talked about last year about him. When you lined up in the backfield as a fullback, and he would hit somebody. You talk about putting a hat on. He took care of his man.
Absolutely. That kid only knows one thing, and that's contact. And he lives by that, and I love it. I love his mentality. His mentality suits what we want to do, offensively, defensively, and special teams. That's the embodiment of Phoebus High School football right there, his mentality. So we love that.
All right, now you have had a chance to see Kecoughtan. So if you were to look at Kecoughtan, what is the one thing that you have to be concerned about?
It's a rival game. Those guys live right down the street from us. And one thing about it, these kids grow up playing each other. So, we know Kecoughtan, they have a great coaching staff. They're going to come ready to play, same way as our guys. So right now, I'm going to say it's going to be a dogfight, But it's one of those things. We owe these guys, so we're very excited. Didn't take much to get up for this week.
Last question, weather. You got the wind 20, 25-mile-an-hour gusts going east, southeast, going towards the other end of the field. If you're going to kick off, you want the wind to your back. How is that going to affect your game plan, or does it?
Our type of football game. That's what we live for. We'll play in the mud. We'll play in the snow. It doesn't matter. We'll play on the street. That's just what we do. So if this is what God put in front of us today, we're thankful that we're out here. So it's going to be our type of football game. We want to be very physical, very fast, and very aggressive.
Well, again, I want to thank you so much for your help this week when I went over and talked to you. Good luck tonight. And, Coach, I'm looking for a dogfight.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, let's go back up to you.
All right, thank you, Bob. Kecoughtan coming off a big loss last week, 31-27. Kecoughtan a little bit better team than that.
Lost opportunity last week. They finally started playing football at the end of the game and didn't have enough to catch up with Bethel that I think really surprised them.
Yeah.
Looks like Brent's got Coach Coley down there for Kecoughtan. Excuse me. Let's send it down to Brent.
Thanks again, guys. I have the pleasure of interviewing Coach Coley again for the second time in 2 weeks, Coach. Seems to be running back-to-back. Last week, tough game. My gosh, everybody in the stands and up in the top was just going back and forth. How's this going to end? After that tough game, how does your team respond in practice? I know you guys work on motivation. Are they self-motivated and just move on?
Well, the kids were very motivated after that loss. We kind of thought we let one slip away. So they wanted to really get back to work, and we had some soul searching to do a little bit, but the guys really responded well. Okay,
now, just to get something out of the way real quick, I was asked, you had an injury this week in Brassear, one of your linemen. How is he doing, number one, 54? How's he doing?
Blake will be out this week, and hopefully we'll have him back next week.
What did he mean to your team? He was tough in that line, I know that.
Yeah, he's a sophomore, real strong, and works hard. So, yeah, means a lot to us.
We'll move on again. You've installed a new running back for this game out on the number 7, Cameron Nixon, I believe it is. Looking at his size, 5'8" and 225. Are we looking for a blocker here, or is he just going to make holes, or what's his purpose?
He's a good blocker, has great hands, real physical player, so we're looking for a lot out of him.
Well, just looking at that size, he reminds me of some players back in the old days when Bob and I were young. It was a long time ago. Now I'm going to tell about Keith Grandy. Now, last year he was a great receiver, and he's moving into the same category this year. Just got to get him in sync with the new quarterback, because I figured last week was his first game really after injured Savage. So tell us a little bit about Keith and how he's come along.
Keith's been a 3-year starter for us. He's going into his junior year. We expect real big things out of him. He had a great year last year, 70 catches somewhere around that area, and had a great year. Expect the same thing from him again this year as well.
He seems to be in every play, no matter whether the ball's to him or not.
Absolutely, he's got a motor, definitely a good motor.
I'm going to give you one last question because we're getting short here. As a coach, I've often thought this. As a coach, an opposing coach, break down Phoebus for us so that the people understand what you're looking at when you're thinking about putting a game plan together for your team. Break down Phoebus for us.
Well, the biggest thing is that their mindset and will to win is outstanding. Even when things are down, those guys definitely believe that they're going to win the ball game, and you have to match that. They're very, very physical, have great athletes, and you got to match that too. You got to be physical, you got to be intense when you play these guys.
Coach, so what you're working on during this past week then is getting your kids to understand that you're going to get hit, and you got to give it back, or they're going to hit you twice as hard.
Absolutely, man, and you got to be physical. Absolutely.
Coach, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come over. Looking forward to seeing you again. Thanks so much. Okay, guys, back up to you.
All right, thank you, Brent.
Well, he's taken last week very well.
Yeah, he is.
Because last week was a tough loss. Bethel really surprised them. Let's take it out to the coin toss right now.
Your choice is deferred. Phoebus has won the toss and elected to defer their choice to the second half. If you want to receive,
Phoebus Phantoms
you want to
won
defend
the
the
toss
library.
and have deferred
with me?
to the
Either
second
one.
half on the option.
You think we're going to have time?
Good luck, gentlemen.
Kecoughtan
Great ball game.
will receive to start the football game.
They're lining up now.
All right, and here's Brent and Bob with final comments about this game.
All right, thanks again, guys. Bob, here we are. 10th season for me, forever for you. They passed over how many times you've done this. But here we are back at the Phoebus Kecoughtan game. Always a rivalry. Phoebus comes in 4-0, Kecoughtan 2-1 in the district, 2-2 overall, after a tough loss last week. Our Savages, their quarterback for Kecoughtan, has been a little bit first game back actually last week because of injuries.
Right.
He was a little bit off first half, but second half.
There goes my hat.
There
That's
goes
all
your
right.
head. Yeah, can't do anything about ugly. Anyway, he came out the second half and it was a different game, and they just missed it by 4 points. Now, you were over to Phoebus this week. You got to talk to the coach. Tell us a little bit about what he's bringing.
Well, he's so high on his defense. It's just unbelievable. And I look at his offense and defense. He's got a lot of seniors. He's got I think 10 seniors on offense and maybe 9 on defense, something like that. So he's got a senior-related group that have a lot of experience. And he told us in the interview, I'll play anywhere. I don't care what the weather is. We'll play in the street if we have to. But what I look for is, Bucknell's going to have to step up and run the ball, because you're not going to throw the ball in this wind. If you are, it's going to be a shuffle pass, or, you throw a boomerang or something.
Yeah, if he has a big night tonight, that's going to impress a lot of people in this kind of wind. Kecoughtan, on the other hand, we saw Bethel play both of these teams. They played Kecoughtan. Kecoughtan put up 27 points. Played Phoebus. They went 4 quarters with no score and 3 overtimes before they were able to get 7 into the end zone. Not criticizing anybody for it. I'm just saying they both have played the same defense. It's going to be very interesting to see how this wind affects Kecoughtan and how Phoebus. It's a Phoebus game because this is what they like to do.
Well, just like you talked about, how did the kids respond after that loss last week to Kecoughtan? That was a tough loss. I don't care what anybody says. And boy, my hat how the wind just got that hat back. That was awesome.
It's amazing.
But, kids, you're talking 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. It's not like the pros and the college. These kids, that's an emotional thing. It's hard to get rid of.
Well, let me end it before I send it back to you. I was doing the line thing that I always do. What amazed me was in the trenches, Phoebus's offensive line is 229. Kecoughtan's offensive line is 266. Kecoughtan's defensive line is 226, and Phoebus is 217. Both teams.
All right, we're here at the sideline now, guys. Kecoughtan surprisingly threw the ball on the first down. Shuffle pass, inside. Yeah.
Well, nothing yet for the Warriors as we go third down now, just inside 10 yards. Desmond Savage with his first throw to Keith Grandy, nothing there. Nothing inside. Of course, Paul, the guy to watch here, Jason Fugate, number 5. I described him last week as a wound spring, and he's quite the athlete, and he's ready to go at any time.
Third down, you'd expect him to throw, but with Fugate back there, I wouldn't. Yeah, there. We're going to have a flag, or a whistle anyway.
Flag on the plate. By the snap, 12 start, offense, 5 yards, third down.
Kecoughtan digging a little bit of a hole here as the game starts. That'll bring up third down and long now. It'll be about 15 yards for a first down. As you see, Desmond Savage, number 11, going back to the huddle.
Got Fugate on the sideline over here now for third down and long.
Number 1 for the Warriors, Caleb Tucker in the backfield. Savage gets the hike. He fakes it. It looks like a busted play. He's going to try and run around the left-hand side. He's not going to get much room as that Phantom defense closes the gap real quickly and pushes him out of bounds. And that'll bring up fourth down and long for the Kecoughtan Warriors. Speaking of the Kecoughtan Warriors, number 11, Desmond Savage is at quarterback. Jason Fugate, number 5, is the running back, along with number 7, Koran Nixon. The wide receiver, number 4, Keith Grandy, and number 14, Cameron Stevenson, along with the tight end, Tyler Chris, number 3. On the offensive line, you have number 71, Karan Brown, number 75, Samaj Harris, excuse me if I pronounce it wrong, number 50, Cade Power, and number 60, Devon, is that Olives? Oliver, and number 72.
That was Trey Hamlin around the right end on the kick with a punt return. Tyler Chris with the punt for the Warriors. Hamlin had a good return up across midfield, and then a couple flags flew. I imagine Phoebus was going to move back a little bit despite the good run back by Trey Hamlin.
Illegal use of hands.
So Phoebus with a good return, but it's going to be negated by the penalty, and they're going to start back near their 40-yard line. Ted Albert, the referee tonight for this ball game, the veteran. Demetrius Dotson, the umpire. Sergio Jimenez, the head linesman. Mike Hextall, the line judge. Side judge Anthony Harris. Warren Hall, the field judge, and the back judge Floyd Pauling tonight. And here's Justin Wright behind center for the Phantoms. 1st and 10 from the 41.
Looks like a blitz coming, it is, and they're right there, but that doesn't make any difference. Going through the line and picking up a good 5 yards. Look like Becknell.
And I would imagine in the middle of that pile is Jamari Becknell.
Yep, there he is.
Here's a Phoebus offense. Quarterback Justin Wright, his running back Jamari Becknell, fullback Jalen Holloway, the wideouts Dominique Barnes and Trey Hamlin, the tight end Kyrie Green. Ty Carson at one tackle, Anthony Davila at the other, Anton Leroy at one guard, Devin Gates at the other, and Caven Melton is the center for the Phantom. Becknell again, another 10.
Nice fake by the quarterback Justin Wright on that play. As Becknell takes it up the middle again, picking up a first down for the Phantoms.
Well, you see they trap the rusher there. He comes upfield and gets caught out of position. One of those members of the defense down now for the Warriors. It's Kecoughtan defense. Tyler Christ at one end, David Moody at the other. Justin Burwell at linebacker. Skylar Wilson at linebacker. Kay Webb at the other. Nico Thompson, the nose tackle. And Caleb Tucker at the other end. Jason Fugate in the back with Tucker. DeQuandre Edwards at safety. Zapella Barnes at one corner. Eric Rosado at the other corner for the Warriors. Big number 6-0 coming off for the Kecoughtan Warriors.
Want to let our fans know this evening that the Kecoughtan Warriors wearing the green and black numbers is going to be a little bit of a difficulty of us seeing all of those numbers. So please forgive us if we get the name wrong here incorrectly. We'll get it corrected as quickly as possible.
That was Devin Olivas comes off. He's okay. He's going to adjust here on the sideline, so he's all right.
Justin Wright under center. He gives it off. It looked like the second back through there. I think that was Holloway. Was it Becknell again?
Becknell again, yeah.
Becknell again.
Becknell's a workhorse.
Tell you what, as long as they can't stop him, you're just going to have to keep giving it to him.
Well, 94 carries in 4 games, 460 yards coming into the night. 3 more carries so far. 7 touchdowns for Becknell this season.
4 games.
4 games.
That's almost 2 a game. Almost 2 a game. Justin Wright under center again. 2 wide outs to the near side of the field, and we've got a whistle and a flag.
We moved, one of the tailbacks moved. Maybe in Becknell.
It's too bad Becknell was all the way down the field. He was ready to score a touchdown again. That'll move it back just a little bit.
He was in the nice white tops tonight with the blue numbered, which makes it easy for all of us. They have a set of uniforms we talk about every year with the white tops and the white numbers. First time they broke those out, it was 4 degrees at Harbor Park, if you remember that playoff game.
Yes, I do.
Where you're sitting behind home plate and the field is out in left field.
Yes. Very interesting. Justin Wright comes up again, gives it to Becknell again. He cuts through the middle. He's got a little bit of yardage. He'll get close to the 35-yard line. Close to another first down.
Well, going over the left side that time, Paul. They're opening plenty of holes in the middle there.
They really are.
Line.
What do you got there, Bob?
It looks right now that Phoebus is just going to play smash mouth football. They're just going to run the ball right down your throat. Kecoughtan came out. They wanted to try to throw a little bit, try to catch him off balance. Right now, you got to go with the grinder.
That's Kai Carson, the left tackle, opening the hole that time.
Let's see if they do it again. Justin Wright, here comes a blitz. Justin looked like he saw something. Gave it to the first man through. He's going to get nowhere. In fact, he's going to get right back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. So Phoebus trying to just pound it like Bob said, but that time they didn't get anywhere.
Stopping him up on that run, number 12, David Moody. Are the Warriors? That's going to bring a 4th down for the Panthers.
Obviously going to try to force him to throw, Bob.
They're going to try to get him to throw, but I'll tell you what, right now, as long as they're succeeding using this running game.
Carson and Gates on the left side, 52 and 58. Let's see if they keep going behind them.
Look at him bringing up again. Justin Wright stood up this time. He's calling an audible. Gives it again to Justin Holloway. He's trying to get that fullback. Correct me if I'm wrong down there, Bob. When he sees that blitz coming, he wants to give it to the front man first, the fullback, get him to get past those overshooting blitzers. Is that correct?
You're absolutely right. The 2 linebackers lining up right into the gaps across the center, so there's no way you're going to go up the middle. You got to go off tackle, and that's what he did with the fullback that time. Good call.
Holloway, Jalen Holloway, 5'9", 220 pounds, so he's a load coming through there from the fullback spot.
Well, you spread out in the backfield. 2 receivers to the near side, and they're going to give it to Becknell again, and he's got a lot of running room right there, a whole lot of running room, and he's down to inside the 15-yard line of the Warriors. He got some real good blocks on that run.
Well, that, again, Gates and Carson opened up the hole. It was like 2 swinging doors.
Oh, wow.
And Becknell right through. You can see how fast he is. Look here on the left side, 58 and 52. Each hold their block, and he's through the door and out into the backyard.
Excellent blocking on Phoebus' part that time. So now from about the 15-yard line, first down. Becknell gets it again. He goes up the middle again, and he's inside the 10-yard line, and the relentless Phoebus ground attack just grinds on and on.
That time.
Tyler can pick you up 4, 5, 6 yards at a clip. Yeah. Keep going to him.
Why not?
That time behind the right side, Anthony Davila, Anton Leroy, and of course the center, who's key on both sides, Caven Melton, the senior. 5 seniors up front for the Phoebus Phantoms.
Once again, Becknell, it's all the same right there, and he's into the end zone, and Phoebus is on the board first as they run it from one end of the field to the other, using Becknell for most of the runs. Into the end zone, 6-0 Phoebus.
Hey, fellas, you think that win might have a little difference? You starting off where they started off, half of the field, even if at the 40, you put that wind behind you. That's a good thing.
And Becknell doesn't need wind. I'll tell you what, that boy is fast.
Well, what they're doing, they're also putting out 2 wideouts, so you have for the 2 wideouts. There's just no way you can let stand anybody else, and that gives you your blocking scheme a little bit better.
This is Stephon Tompkins for the extra point.
Kick is up, and it's
Good-looking kick.
Looks good from here. Yep. It's good. Speaking of kicks, did you see the one on TV the other night?
Which one was that?
The one where it bounced off the referee's
head. I did see that.
And through the uprights.
Right again, right behind Gates and Carson.
Look at those guys blocking.
Carson holds his block. We mentioned him pre-game. He's played a lot of different positions for these Phantoms, but doing a great job there at his left tackle spot. So the O-line gets credit for that drive for the Phantoms. What was that drive?
10 plays, 63 yards. 63 yards for Bucknell.
Yes. And for the Phantoms.
And for the Phantoms. Well, there was a little more than that.
He had some penalties because
Holloway had a couple.
He got a few extra. That's right.
He had 5. Game 4.
Well, Kecoughtan, we talked pre-game, Paul, that Kecoughtan's had trouble stopping the run. And
but they've counteracted that with a very potent offense this year, and that's what they're going to have to do here, because the defense didn't hold on that first drive, that's for sure. Number 90 for the Phantoms, Stephon Tompkins, back for the kickoff.
Cameron Stevenson and DeQuandre Edwards for Kecoughtan back to receive the kick.
7-0 Phoebus just scoring the touchdown with 5:25 left in the first quarter here at Darling Stadium. Kickoff is along the ground to the outside, taking it to 20, down to about the 27-yard line. Late flag.
That was Stevenson that time with the return. See who the penalty's on. Maybe against the Phantoms.
There was a late flag.
Well, Stevenson gets hit late, but picks up 15 more yards for his team.
That's certainly going to help the Warriors. That's going to put them somewhere around the 42-yard line, 43, giving them 1st and 10. We'll see if they can get something started on this drive.
Nixon to the right, Fugate to the left of the quarterback.
There's a fake to Fugate, and now the quarterback is in trouble, and he's taken down at the 40-yard line by the Phantom defense.
Phoebus defense playing very well so far. Here they are, Tyquan Johnson in 1 tackle, Anthony DeVilla the nose tackle. The ends, Andre Smith and Keyshawn Battle Patterson. Linebackers, Peyton Ryder, the sophomore, Aaron Branch, and Shadarius Horn is in the middle. Deshaun Pope at 1 corner, Marion Carter at the other. Jonathan Gregory, the strong safety, Daquan Lewis, the free safety for the Phantoms. Defense has given up 13 points in 4 games.
Desmond Savage with the ball. He hands it off to Fugate on the left side, and he'll get over the 45-yard line, just over the 45-yard line.
See Fugate able to tiptoe his way around a couple of tacklers out there and pick up a few yards. It's important they can get Fugate going.
Yeah, they've got to get him going because we saw him last year. Now, I haven't seen him this year, but we saw him last year, and the young kid can run. He can definitely flat out run and play some ball. So they get him going, and maybe that offense will get going. And
timeout called by Kecoughtan. Is there a little bit of confusion out there? Coach Coley out to try to get them. They got off to a slow start last week against the Bruins. He doesn't want to have the same thing happen here. They did come back very well. It was a good shot at the Kecoughtan one. Brought to you by Steve Fryer, fine cameraman down. He and Ron Baton out battling the elements tonight.
The Kecoughtan needs to keep the ball on the ground, guys. They don't need to be moving that, trying to throw the ball. Fugate is the guy that's going to carry him. They got to get the ball to him, but they got to block.
Well, Bob, of course, in the first quarter, they're going into the breeze, so any pass may hit Savage in the head on the way back. It's the wind's right in his face mask as he's looking toward the east end of the field.
Well, that's what I was looking at, Bob. Normally we have the little ribbons on the goalposts telling you where the flags are, where the wind's blowing, but I don't see anything going. You're down on the field. What's the wind doing?
The flags are gone.
Yeah, they got blown off. Yeah.
Well,
they
that
blew
answers
off the top, but guys, there's no flags on the goalpost tonight. They all are down well, they're not even Phoebus in downtown Newport News now.
But I agree with you, Bob. They've got to establish a running game here.
Picking up first down would be great right here.
As Fugate coming at us in motion.
They're spreading out wide on this one. They've got 4 receivers.
That's DeQuandre Edwards with the ball.
They're going to give it to Edwards, and he's going to get down to about the 50-yard line midfield. Good pickup, but not enough for a first down.
Edwards is kind of an unexpected pleasure to watch. He gets in. We watched him last week against Bethel. He kind of sneaks in there and ends up playing a lot of plays, but picks up yards. He's a positive yardage guy for the Warriors.
Well, here's one. I guess you don't want to try punting at this point. Not into that wind.
It may blow over your head and go for a touchdown the other way.
So Kecoughtan is going to go for it here. Looks like they're on the 49-yard line of the Phantoms.
Fugate behind him, he gets the ball.
And he gives it to Fugate, and he's pushing, and folks, it's going to be close.
He got a good spot on the far side. They may have picked that up.
We'll have to see where they put it.
Jayson Fugate had 7 yards rushing in the first half last week against Bethel. But then he had a 35-yard interception return for touchdown, a 92-yard kickoff return for the touchdown in the next half.
He was busy.
He's a big play guy, and if you need yards, that's the guy to get. I think they've got it just from our vantage point.
Yeah, you've got a better vantage point from next to me than I do right here.
Now, if the wind, it may get blown back down the field, so they better hold on to it. He got it
just
by.
barely did.
Hey,
Warriors have a first down.
But that's a positive for the Kecoughtan Warriors and their running game at this point. They needed that first down.
Frank, I think you're right. That was a great spot.
A very good spot on the far side. If Fugate is a smart back and knows how to put the ball out as he's going down and hold on to it.
Savage back. Nixon coming this way. Fugate gets it again. He goes up the middle, dodges one tackler, and falls across the 45. Another decent gain, about 3 yards, 4 yards maybe. I'll call it 3. Depends on where they spot it again. Nice pickup for the Warriors.
Yeah, good run for them. Again, both teams are going to keep the ball on the ground as much as they can tonight with the wind.
So you're saying you don't think we'll see any passes?
You're only going to see them going the other way.
Yeah. And Phoebus doesn't have to. This time we're going to pass into the wind, and it's a short pass, and it is incomplete. It looks like it was to Fugate.
No, Tyler Chris.
Chris, that's what it was.
Tyler Chris right in his hands and dropped it, and he's not happy with himself. Chris normally of very strong hands out there. But that one got away from him. Good pass from Savage. Savage was out of sync with the receivers last week, and I know they've worked all week long to get him more comfort. You know, he missed a lot of the first couple of games for Kecoughtan with an injury, so he's really just getting into mid-season form here.
He's still learning the receivers, getting used to them again. We're going back to the backs, and he gives it to the second back, and he is hit immediately right at the line of scrimmage.
Peyton Ryder, the sophomore linebacker and baseball catcher. We met Peyton Ryder last year. He had one big game, and it may have been against Phoebus last year. We had that one game playing fullback, leading the way with Becknell behind him. You see Ryder come up here and just hit him and drive him back.
That's the one the coach was talking about, Peyton Ryder, that he loves to put a hat on a guy, and you can see that. He loves the hit.
Well, as I recall the game last year, Bob, I think Becknell had 200 yards rushing behind him.
Oh, yeah, he's a great blocker. Absolutely. I agree with you.
Savage with the ball, back to pass again. Looks short, throws it underneath to about the 40 and down and close to the 35. It looks like it's going to be enough for a first down.
Yeah, that's a DeQuandre Edwards again, who is, again, he always seems to get yards. He's a very clever receiver, got open that time. Good play, too. Good pass play going in the wind.
Hey, fellas, you don't feel this wind up there, but that's one reason that in this instance it's for the Warriors, because you kick the ball, it's not going to go anywhere. So go for it on fourth. And that's what they've done twice in a row and been successful.
Yes, they have. First down now. Savage. Whoop. We got some people moving there. They're getting excited that they're having successes and they want to continue to keep moving. Just moved a little early.
Well, we're lucky that the rain has let up almost completely. Breeze has picked up a little bit. We're expecting a nor'easter all weekend long.
We'll have to see what happens. And the field looks nice. Field always looks nice here.
I got to commend the staff here. Beth Mayer and her group, they keep this facility looking so nice.
Fantastic job. It's always nice and green. Well,
enough
little movement there.
There's the flags you've been missing from the game. All 5 of them went out of the pocket.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5
Looked
yards.
like Christ again on the end from the tight end spot.
Looked like more than that. Looked like several people down there. Brent Musco was just over here shaking his head.
You're really putting yourself in a hole here. You had 1st and 10, now you got 1st and 20. I understand you're still going to go for it regardless of what happens at 4th down, but you now got 20 yards instead of 10. That really puts the pressure on that offense.
It really does, and it sure looked a whole lot better with 1st and 10 at the 35. And the Phoebus defense is just really beginning to wrap things up as they'll just stop that play for another loss of about another 5-yard loss there.
Edwards actually get knocked backwards that time, but it's almost like the Kecoughtan line did not block. He had the ball, a fraction of a second before they had him.
That was it.
Hey, that was Johnson that got him. 265. He's the kind of guy you make mad. He's going to come to your house and eat all your food.
He won't get much in my house.
Wearing the number 62 out there. The big line of Phoebus.
Savage in the back. Nixon in motion. We've got another
That's the
whistle.
quarter. That's the quarter.
That's
so Kecoughtan's going to turn around and go downhill for a while.
Well, they'll be happy about that.
Well, 7-0 in a very quick moving quarter there with both teams running the ball a lot. Staying in bounds, that quarter flew by. Pardon the pun on the wind.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching LSC, your local sports channel, here at Darling Stadium, where the score is the Phoebus Phantoms 7 and the Kecoughtan Warriors 0, but they've got the ball and they're heading toward the end zone and the hopes of a score. And Brent, what do you think? Brent says he thinks it's a good game so far. He's got a lot of stats he's working on. There's Brent right there.
Hey, fellas, Kecoughtan now has the wind to their back.
Yes,
so let's see what happens now.
Well, they weren't afraid to throw the ball against the wind, Bob. So I'm going to say they're not going to be afraid to throw the ball with the wind.
Wait, the wind will take it and it'll fly, go much further off than you think it will. The wind will get out and just carry it away.
I know.
About this where I would expect to see Keith Grandy open up the offense a little bit. Grandy can fly.
Yeah, you got a good point there. Grandy's kind of been a guy that's so far this game nobody has seen.
He's spread out to the right side there.
Yep. They've got 2 to the right. One goes in motion coming this way, and he's definitely going to pass Desmond Savage. He's got a man open across the middle, and he catches it, and he's hit.
Tyler Chris.
And looks like they're going to move down to about the 25-yard line. That's pretty close to a first down, making up a lot of yardage at one time for the Warriors here.
That's Tyler Chris. We've known him last couple of years. Very dependable receiver. dropped one earlier tonight, so this is a real nice catch. Good film there. Look at it.
And that is
Savage
a first
puts
down.
it beautifully. And
Look
he
at that.
endures the hit there as he's trying to haul the pass in. So 1st and 10 Warriors.
A mix up on the play. Savage takes it himself. He'll spin out and get a couple of yards off that. I don't know what went wrong there, but somebody.
Oh, I'll tell you what went wrong. Fugate started to move, and there was about 2 yards between him and the ball. There's no way that he was going to get the ball to him. And that was a smart move. Quarterback just kept the ball, you know, and just tried to pick up what he could.
And he got some positive yardage out of it, and that's what you're looking for.
And they look more like a Canadian football team on that 20-yard pickup as they had Fugate moving. Everybody kind of headed downfield. Let's see if they try it again.
Well, they got everybody spread out and in motion. Savage is in the back. He picks it up. He gives it off to Fugate. Fugate tries to get around to the corner, but he can't ever get started. He'll get dropped right short of the 25-yard line.
Yeah, Peyton Ryder, the linebacker, up in there, making Fugate go wider than he wanted to.
Deshaun Pope, great tackle that time. Took his legs out from under him.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
So now 3rd and 11 after the long pass.
They got 3 receivers at the top of the screen, 1 at the bottom. The lone running back is Fugate. Low center, and it's passed out to a wide open receiver who gets the easy first down. Is that Christ again?
Tyler Christ, yeah. He was wide open and playing a little bit of a zone on that side. Certainly either that or he just missed him.
I don't know. He's
See,
good.
here's a replay here.
Real nice. Savage looked up and saw him there and said, "Whoa, take the ball."
That was Shadarius Horn a little late to the coverage, allowing Chris to get behind him and pick up the first down. 1st and 10 from the 13.
Another saving play for the Kecoughtan Warriors. Savage with the ball, gives it to Fugate. Fugate goes up the middle. He's got some blockers in front of him, and he's going to get inside the 10 and close to the 5-yard line, probably about the 6. Nice run.
That time over to the left side.
Kecoughtan Warriors beginning to pick up some steam here.
Well, Bob and Brent mentioned the size difference of these lines, and before the game, there's some big men up there in front blocking for the Kecoughtan Warriors.
Averages 266. I wrote that down when they said that. The average is 266 on the front line for the Warriors.
Fugate down close to the first down here. Good picture there of Fugate and Phoebus is number 75, Anthony Davila, as they show their friendship going by each other.
Looks like it was just a little bit shy of the first down, and we've got a timeout here.
Coach Blunt wants to talk about the front line play right now and try to get them back in sync. Fugate's hard to stop anyway.
He is, and he's got 1 yard to get for a first down, and they can still get the first down without getting the touchdown.
They average about 68 yards a game coming in to tonight. And last week was a very short game for him rushing. He's normally up near 100 yards.
But as you said, he contributed in other ways. And that's one of the unique things about him. He's not doing it one way. He'll do it another way.
He did 2 or 3 different ways last week. Scored at least 2 touchdowns. I think he had a third. And a kickoff return of 92 yards.
Hey guys, that front line that you was talking about, the size of them, they're making some holes there for Fugate to go in. He is following his blockers, and that's why he's picking up 4 and 5 yards at the clip. Less than a yard, I look for him to have a chance to score this time. The whole Kecoughtan team looks different than they did the first series. They're walking with a jump in their step. They're ready to go. They feel like now they can win this ball game because now we're doing what we want to do.
Yeah. And they're beginning to move the ball. They're beginning to move that defense back, and that's what's helping them. Confidence. 3rd and 1. Desmond gives it to Fugate. Fugate takes it through, and he gets the first down. And he gets the end zone. Touchdown for the Kecoughtan Warriors. with Mr. Jason Fugate, number 5, the running back for the Kecoughtan Warriors, going on to pay dirt.
I don't know if the officials are rationing out their touchdown signs, but we didn't see a lot of hands go up. Fugate,
that's why I was waiting.
Fugate tacking on 6 more points, now 60 points in 4+ games.
And I think that's Ryan Wright, number 87, for the extra point. It's a bad snap, and they're going to take it for 2 points.
We've seen the changes in the rules in the NFL this year on the 2-point conversion. That time, pick up and run by the holder. It looks like Caleb Tucker.
And it looked like a busted play to me, but
who knows? I think it was a call play.
It could have been. Could have been. Hard to tell from up here. You've got the better view down there, Bob.
Well, the wind's picked up a little bit, Bob, and I meant to have that one in the book for the other end of the field, but why not pull it there? And it worked beautiful.
It sure did.
8-7 Kecoughtan here. Phantom's first drive looked like they were unstoppable, and looked like Kecoughtan gets stopped. We're going to see that 2-point conversion here.
Yeah, I think you're right, Bob. I think that was a called and designed play.
It looked like it from down here. Now, I don't know what it looked like up there, but you got the rebound.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it on the replay. On that drive, 57 yards, 17 plays, 57 yards. Talk about grinding it out.
Hey, and they overcame a lot of penalties on that drive.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they picked up a lot more than those 50-some yards. They had to keep picking up some of the same yards twice or 3 times.
Kickoff's a little short one to about the 20-yard line. Picked up there to the 40. And that looked like
number 5 of the Phantoms.
Number 5. That's Trey
Hamlin.
Yeah, Hamlin.
He had the good return earlier, and then was negated by a penalty. So that's a good return right there. Phantoms get the start.
That was a real good return. It was like a line drive, and he just took off running on that and just picked up some good yardage quickly.
Well, let's watch, see if the energy of the offense will carry over here to the Kecoughtan defense, as the Phantoms had no problem last time.
And we know what the Phantoms are going to do going against the wind. Even though they've got a bunch of people spread out, they're going to give it right to Mr. Becknell. He's hit quickly in the backfield.
Hey, Webb, number 42. Met him when he got the ball.
An outstanding tackle that time by Kasim Webb, Jr., 5'10", 210-pounder.
Technically, we'll call it getting back to the line of scrimmage, but it looks like he lost just a wee bit of yardage. Sprout out again with 2 receivers toward this end of the field. Again, it goes to Becknell. He goes to the middle again, and he gets through this time and gets through and keeps going through. Keeps going again, and he doesn't want to stop. And finally, it looks like he's going to stop somewhere around the 47-yard line. A nice gain after it looked like for a second he wasn't going to go anywhere. And then it looked like he wasn't going to stop.
See the pushing and shoving there in the end. And be honest, that's a healthy rivalry. There wasn't any cheap shots. It's just pushing and pulling and trying to get the running back down. And Becknell, for being a small guy, is hard to get down.
Yeah,
see,
watch him. Look at this.
Balance.
Watch this. Watch him just keep going, keep going, keep going.
Or his teammate Hamlin trying to hold him up there. Doing a nice job.
3rd and 1. Here comes the blitz, and they got him. They got him. Right at about the 45-yard line, they hit him. You can see that blitz coming, and somebody got through there off that right side.
I'm going to say they anticipated that play.
Who?
I think Kecoughtan anticipated the play and plugged the hole.
And now you got to figure out these guys are going to try to punt into this wind, fellas. Lots of luck. It is just kind of spitting is all it's doing, but the wind is picking up.
Ooh. Well, it'll be interesting to see.
He was number 10, Elijah Nelson, tasked with the punting duties tonight.
Keep it low and kick it hard.
He's going to run
Well,
it.
he's not even going to punt it. They're going to go for the first down and get it easily.
Nelson, we call a receiver last year. We saw a lot of him last year. Haven't seen him too much yet tonight. But a good run by the punter.
Very good run in there. Already in this game, we've got 6:27 left in the first half. And we saw the 2-point conversion by Kecoughtan, surprise play. And now we see the punt that wasn't a punt that becomes a first down, as we'll see it on replay again. And there wasn't even a thought in his mind about kicking that ball. He knew he was going to be going with it the whole time. Good play by the Phoebus Phantoms.
Pete Ryder in at fullback, or Holloway.
Oh, back to pass. And almost intercepted by the Warriors. Trying to get a number that was...
That was number 2 that almost intercepted that ball.
2.
I think almost could have been caught twice. A couple of the defensive backs got caught twisted around, as did the receiver.
And that was Kevin Davis, number 2, that almost intercepted that for the Warriors. Surprising pass play by the Phantoms here going against the wind.
Which is picked up, and it may get a little more rain right now.
2nd and 10 now. One running back in the backfield. We'll guess who that is. He gets the ball, number 11, and he shoots to the left-hand side, trying to turn the corner, and he can't quite get it turned. He'll pick up some good yardage, though, as he gets inside the 45 to about the 44, 43-yard line.
Looks like Davis on the tackle. Again, he's had a good series here. Yeah, wind is definitely picked up. Rain is starting to pick up.
Could make things interesting here. We'll have to see how it goes. Again, a quick game here, folks, as it's about 5:40 left in the half, first half here at Darling Stadium. September the 25th, 2015. One man in motion coming towards your screen. Back to pass. He throws across to the side, and he's wide open. And he falls down, and that is number 83 for the Phantoms. And that is Dominique Barnes. Great pass by Justin Wright.
Just a slant, and the reason he fell is he wanted to cut back to the right, opposite direction than the defense was going, and it's just enough of water on the ground just to make him slide.
Yep.
Well, Caleb Tucker had a shot at him and ran right by him. I don't know if he saw the ball coming, but by the time he did, the receiver was by him.
Justin Wright hands it off to Becknell, who can't find anywhere to run, so he scampers back around the other way, trying to get a corner on the far side of the field, and he's going to get dropped for a big loss.
Tyler Chris runs him down, and that's quite an accomplishment, run down Becknell.
And they started at the 25, and they go back to about the 32, 33. Wrong direction.
You know, what we're going to see in a good matchup like this are the good players rise to the top, and you're starting to see that. We're calling some of the same names over and over.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have certain speed to catch Becknell.
Becknell still in the backfield. Justin Wright, we got a whistle. Looks like there's going to be a timeout for the Phantoms as they want to take a look at what they have here with 4 minutes and 21 seconds left in the first half here at Darling Stadium. The score, Kecoughtan Warriors 8 and Phoebus Phantoms 7. The Warriors 8 points, 2 of them coming on the 2-point conversion against the wind. And Bob, you know how the wind is down there today. Right now in this drive, excuse me, I'm sorry, this is Savage. Savage, 3 for 5, 47 yards.
Well, he's not throwing a long pass. He tried a long one there at the first one that was intercepted, but these passes are slant passes or hook passes. He's just trying to get the ball to somebody so that they can be one-on-one with the defense and maybe can break it. Right now, the Kecoughtan Warriors are looking real good. They've got a lot of confidence going on. But you got to watch out for Phoebus. They've got a few cards up their sleeves, too, as we saw on that fake punt.
And it worked.
Big series here, though. They can hold them out.
2nd and long, 16 long. You got 2 receivers down here at the near side. Wright goes back. He gives it to Bucknell, and Bucknell is wide open. Looks like he's going to get short.
Kind of a curious place to run out of bounds.
Looked like he was headed easily to the first down, and he went out of bounds short of the first down. Maybe we can see the replay again.
Kind of an odd turn out.
Watch this replay. Watch the end of this.
A great run up the middle.
It really is, and you can see the marker over there, and all of a sudden he just turns over there and
well, you can see it. We can see it too. Yeah, that was odd. 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4. Bucknell gets it. Oh, it's Holloway. And he gets down to almost the 10-yard line, so they get the first down anyway.
And Jalen Holloway, big fullback. Yeah. He just hit that thing, and he looked like he was trying to block somebody with a hole in the ball.
You know, Bob Phoebus has always depended on their fullbacks, and you can go back to Rob Robinson's brother, Chaz, who was such a terrific
you can go
fullback.
Further than that.
But, you know, with Peyton Ryder and Jalen Holloway, Phoebus is loaded.
Oh, yeah. What were the 2 guys, Bob? We called them Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside. There's Bucknell again. And again, he gets close to the 5-yard line.
And Phoebus is going to try to pound it in here, going into the wind.
Well, it's Phoebus football, as Bob mentioned earlier today. It's smash mouth. They're just going to keep running it at you. Yes, they've thrown a couple of times.
We'll see if Kecoughtan tighten up here.
Hey, fellas, I'm right behind the team. I'm going to watch this blocking scheme. They're doing a great job of blocking.
Watch that hat. Don't let that blow on the field.
One man in motion for the Phantoms. They give it to Bucknell, and he is stacked at the line. Quick defense by the Kecoughtan Warriors. Very quick response on that.
Well, that was a little slow developing. I don't know if Bob see it, but number 62 for the Phantoms out in front. That's Tyquan Johnson out in front blocking and had the hole behind him.
You're right,
Watch it right there. Had him right there, and then
they just slow developing. The hole was there. The runner was slow getting to it.
Looked like number 12. Who was number 12 for the Warriors? He's the one that got in there and just laid him out. That was Moody. There's Bucknell again through the middle, pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing.
Be 4th down and a couple.
What do you think? They should go for a field goal?
I think they're going to have to trust the line and see if they can't push it in.
When you're Phoebus, you run. You run. There's some of the faithful fans right there who have come out here tonight for this wonderful game with this wonderful weather that we're having.
Dedicated fans and family members come out tonight.
Yes.
Hey, fellas, it's not raining that hard. It's just a kind of a mist. The problem is the wind, and it's more so above us than right down on the field. You hit the ball or kick the ball, it's going to be effective. But if you keep the ball low, I think they'll be okay passing the ball. It looks like they're doing a good job with the passes.
Now, we've seen it in kicking. They've kept the ball low in the kicking, and we've pretty much seen the low passes, Bob. You're exactly right. Thinking about what we've seen tonight.
Well, Kecoughtan puts the big heavies in here on the defensive line. 4 of them out there. And what I would call 2 lunch men right there, the front 4. Bucknell approaching 100 yards.
Yes, he is. 16 attempts, 92 yards already in the first half.
Right there, almost to his average, and we're in the first half, averaging 115 yards a game coming into tonight.
No whiteouts, fellas.
Definitely a running scheme here, and guess who gets it? Becknell, and he's into, it's going to be, it depends on where they see his forward motion.
The far sideline judge had his foot in the end zone and stepped out. That was number 75 for Phoebus, was the lead blocker. That's Anthony Davila. It's a good guy to be behind. Got the first down, but not the touchdown. Well, Kecoughtan pleased us not allowing the touchdown, but they now Phoebus has 4 downs to try to stick it in a yard.
I'm going to go out on a limb with 4 chances to get a yard for the Phantoms. I'm going to guess that it's going to happen.
At Ryder and Holloway in the backfield. This time
Justin Wright takes it himself. Right on in, and it looks like it's going to be, and it is a touchdown for Justin Wright, the quarterback for the Phoebus Phantoms.
Well, good play. Just push the pile about a yard and get a touchdown.
Well, he was smart. Everybody was expecting Becknell to take it. He kept it himself, just went right on in. He scored the points. Right now we've got a 13-8. And it wouldn't surprise me if Phoebus decided to go for 2 right now. We'll see when they come out. And
they are going to go.
They're going for 2. They're putting trips to the far side.
Kecoughtan calls timeout real quick. Coach Coley was halfway out on the field.
Got to make yourself known, don't you?
Must have been an interesting formation for him that he didn't like.
Here's a replay. You'll watch both fullbacks are in the backfield. You can see Holloway right there on this end, Peyton Ryder on the other, but both kind of fakes as Justin Wright goes right up the middle.
Some nice blocks right there, and he just dove right in, and basically all he had to do was fall down and score a touchdown.
Yeah. You see that that Kecoughtan has made Phoebus work this half. We thought for a minute there in that first drive it was going to be a quick series of touchdowns for the Phantoms, but only 2 here in the first half.
The drive covered 62 yards, took 14 plays, and so far has resulted in 6 points for the Phoebus Phantoms.
The Phoebus so far, they've scored over 34 or more points in 3 of the first 4 games. The only tight game was the triple overtime game over the Bethel Bruins, 7-0.
Now we're lining up with trips to the top and 2 to the bottom, and they try to run it, and Kecoughtan is saying no. And they have just stuffed the running back at about the 12, 13-yard line. So that 2-point conversion is not going to succeed.
I was just thinking, that didn't work.
No. And with a minute and 28 seconds left here in the first half at Darling Stadium, Phoebus will take a 13-8 lead.
A good drive by the Phantoms.
Yeah, it was.
A little bit power football there. And Beth Mayer waving to us on the screen.
She's happy. Wouldn't say it's a real good running, and to me, running football, as Mom says, smash mouth football. And after Kecoughtan got its start, they had some as they went down to get theirs the same way. So good running football.
A very quick half for the 2 teams.
Well, when you don't pass, you don't stop the clock, it keeps on going.
And this Kecoughtan still has a minute 28 here. Try to make something, and they're going with the wind. And the kick is, as Bob said, the wind is a little stronger up high. So Stefan Tonkin's going to try to test it.
He kicks it off low. It's taken by
Redwood,
14,
Stevenson, Cameron Stevenson.
He'll get across the 35-yard line where the Warriors will take over 1st and 10 with about a minute and 20 left. And I'm going with you. I'm going to say, why not throw the ball?
You may see Savage,
Yeah, why not throw the ball, guys? You got a minute 21. You got 1 timeout left. you've got the win at your back, and you're going to have the win at your back in the fourth quarter. So, you know, if you're Kecoughtan, now is the time to throw the ball.
Well, they've got 2 receivers at the top of the screen. They've got 1. The lower end, they've got 2 running backs, and they give it to the running back.
Fugate is like the human long pass, so he, you know, he's a good option. There he had absolutely nothing, picked up 6 yards.
And it didn't take a whole lot of time, as he only had 6 seconds taken off.
Well, the one thing the Phoebus linebacker is going to have to do is respect Fugate, because he's a dangerous back. He goes right past the line. That's linebackers and corners trying to stop him.
And guess where he's heading? Toward the sideline. Stopping the clock. Let's see if they continue that. 2 receivers down at the near side, 1 at the top of the screen. Fugate in the backfield. They're going to pass this time. Looking. Got a man underneath, but it pops out of his arms.
They threw it to Grandy.
I don't believe that would have been a completed pass. I think he was out of bounds. His knee was out of bounds before the ball got there that time, fellas.
Okay. Thanks, Bob.
So now 3rd down and 1:03 to go. So they've been able to manage the clock, but they haven't gotten the first down.
Well, they need that first down.
Caleb Tucker, the bottom right screen there, number 1 out of the lineup with a sore ankle. He was injured a little bit last week.
They're going to give it to Fugate again. This time he's going to go in the top of the screen, and he's going to get real close to the first down.
He's got it by a yard. Fugate is a remarkable running back, and I know I was told by people in the know that he went over and watched the Old Dominion game a couple weeks ago. Be a nice place for that young man to end up. We could all see him play. So Savage is going to spike it and take 3 downs now to try to throw it downfield, I imagine.
Well, they've got about 53 seconds.
Yeah, we had the clock was running a little bit there after the.
Please reset the game clock to 58 seconds. 5-8.
So they're going seconds will be put back on the clock.
They want 58 on it, guys.
Somehow they'll bring that on Brent Musgrove. You see him there. Could be his fault, as they say. And cheerleaders doing a nice job tonight when they came out in their raincoats. Unfortunately, they've been able to get those and haven't had too much rain here in the first half. Young lady's working hard down there to get the crowd into this game.
3 receivers to the near side of the field. 1 at the top. Man in motion coming toward this screen. Back to pass. Cross to the side around the 45-yard line down to the 42, and that was complete to number 14.
It's Cameron Stevenson. You'll see a lot of Stevenson and Quandre Edwards, number 13, and then Keith Grandy. And I know Phoebus is going to key on Grandy, but I still think he's your target right here. Cornerback over there that's got him is Marlon Carter, the senior. Phoebus not without Robbie Robinson this year, who's the all-district performer for the last 3 years for the Phantoms, has moved on to a different high school, so they've had to fit in a couple of cornerbacks. Deshaun Pope and Marlon Carter have had to serve, and they've served very well so far.
Robbie went up to DeMatha, and that's the team that Phoebus played last year, if you remember, and that's where he ended up.
I hope things are going well for him. The decision you have to make, do with your career, but
just short.
The 3rd and a fraction here.
Second and a little.
I think it's going to be 3rd.
I thought it was second.
It's 3rd down.
Second and a little bit. 3 receivers up at the top of your screen. Savage with the ball, goes back. He's getting pressured. Oh, he gets out of it. He's pressured again, and now he's going to run back into it again. And he's going to get slung down at about the 45-yard line. And not only that, a lot of time ran off the clock as well.
Keyshawn Battle Patterson stayed at it. Number 88 there just stayed at trying to catch Savage, and he did. Finally. Well, double whammy, running off the clock and lost a lot of yards, lost 15 yards on that play.
Kecoughtan went from 2nd and 1 to now 3rd and about 15.
Now, fellas, it's 4th down. If you remember, he spiked the ball.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
And it was
That's
2
right.
plays
That's
since
right.
then.
That's
so
right.
this is 4th. The guy in the scoreboard got it wrong.
Okay. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. Because Frank was saying he thought it was a different down. And you're right. I forgot when he spiked it.
So 4th and 15, and we'll see if Kecoughtan wants to air it out here. Pretty good crowd tonight, Paul, considering the weather. Certainly the threat of the weather. We're typical. We think we're in the snow season where they've canceled half the weekend's activities, anticipating the rain.
Yes.
You know, the Outer Banks have been pounded today with rain and wind.
I heard Virginia Beach canceled everything and moved everything inside. So here we go with 4th or 3rd. Should be
4th and 15.
but they're still showing 3rd. And you know what? He got the first down. He got the first down. 25 seconds left.
Cameron Stevenson, who's had 2 catches on this drive, pulls that one in, gets across first down mark. That's going to stop the clock. Savage ready to go here as soon as the sticks get set. 1st and 10 from the 42. And he spikes it again. He's got 21 seconds to work with, basically a couple yards a second, trying to get into the end zone.
But fellas, you got to look at these receivers. They're running real good routes, getting open, finding the spots in that zone right behind the linebackers. That last kid that caught the ball, I didn't get his number, but he got his bell rung.
Cameron
but he
Stevenson
got the first down, did what he had to do.
We just watched the replay, Bob. He turned his head perfectly timed. He's fine.
Oh, he did see it coming?
Yeah, he caught it and got his head down, so he's in good shape. He's out here to the near side.
Savage back looking downfield. Got 2 men on the side.
That's got to be a mix-up in you don't want 2 guys in the same place because then you got 2 defenses back there too.
One thing they haven't done is open up downfield. They've flooded these zones with receivers yet. Let's see if he does it here. He's got 16 seconds and a 3rd down. Got to flood more receivers out and spread those defensive backs and find the one that's man-to-man.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defenders in the backfield for the Phantoms. Everybody's probably going out for the Warriors, and he's throwing deep across the middle. Gets it.
Tyler Chris
Caught
with a good
about
catch.
the 19-yard line with 10 seconds left. And they're going to have to
Well, the
get
clock
up there and
stopped
be
the first
ready.
down.
What a great route and great catch.
Here it comes.
And as soon as they get the whistle blown, then they'll spike the ball. And 3 seconds to spike the ball. You got to work on that play a little bit. But he's got time to throw it in the end zone a couple times. But he's going to have to hurry.
Yeah, if they've got the right play set up, they've got time for 2 shots at the end zone.
Or if you got a kicker and you're going with the wind, this may be time to do it. It's a beautiful throw over and another great catch by Chris with the man on his back the whole way.
Fellas, but when we started this game, did you think there would be that many passes?
No, not at all. Not at all. I thought we'd see a lot of running on this one. He's going back. Savage is back. He's hit as he throws, and it's batted away by someone on the line and almost intercepted. And
but now he's going to either kick it or go in and throw it in the end zone. They're going to kick it.
They're going to kick it, I think.
Well, if you can get it up in the air, it'll have the distance. You have to go over in the parking lot and pick up the ball. It's not a bad decision. He had the 2-point conversion with a touchdown. He'll only be, if he can make it, he's only 2 points down going into halftime.
Is that Wright that's the kicker?
Number 87, Ryan Wright.
87. Whoa.
Wind is picked up perfectly for Wright here. He can get it up in the air.
The wind has really picked up.
Yeah, it'll be about a 27-yard. Well, maybe not.
I think Kecoughtan's moved. It's remarkable,
sure
the mistakes on that. All those guys have to do is stand up. Well, that hurts, but again, not as bad.
Offense, 5 yards.
Ryan Wright's going to find the new spot to kick from. It's going to be a 42-yard field goal attempt, which very well may be the longest in the district this year. There's not a lot of elite kickers in the league this year, and Wright maybe he'll set the mark here.
I don't think they're going to kick.
They're going to change it.
I think they're going to change it.
Oh, this breeze I'd have kicked it, but let's see if Coach Coley certainly knows what he's doing. He's got his receivers out and a few get in the backfield.
They're going to take one last shot at it.
And Phoebus gets one last shot at Savage. And he gets thrown into the practice net.
Run out of bounds by the Panthers.
Well, time's run out, but we've got a flag. We'll have to wait and see what that is.
On the
Ryder rode him out of bounds.
Got a holding on Kecoughtan. That's going to do it for the half.
Yeah. So that'll end the half here at Darling Stadium, where the Phoebus Phantoms hold a 13-8 lead over the Kecoughtan Warriors in a very interesting ball game with some very interesting plays that have led to the scores that we have today. A 2-point conversion, giving the 8 points for Kecoughtan, and the fake punt that kept the drive alive and allowed Phoebus to go down and score their touchdown, putting them ahead in today's game. 13-8, the Phoebus Phantoms over the Kecoughtan Warriors on LSC, your local sports channel.
Head to halftime. A lot of Jamari Becknell for the Phantoms, and Desmond Savage playing real well for Kecoughtan. So it should be a good second half.
Looking forward to it. We'll see you when we get back. Don't go away. Welcome back, everybody, to Darling Stadium here on September 25th, 2015, where the Phoebus Phantoms lead the Kecoughtan Warriors 13-8 here in a really interesting game. It's been smash mouth football, according to Bob Hintz. It's run, 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 with a few passes in between that kind of surprised us, and a couple of plays that surprised us, but some really good overall play for the evening so far on a very terrible weather day.
Terrible, but not as bad as we thought it was going to be. It was raining harder before the game started. We haven't had much rain here in the first half, and it looks like it may hold off the second half. We saw a lot of Phantom football, just run, run, run behind that big front line and give it to that quick running back, Jamari Becknell. Becknell with over 100 yards, I imagine, here as we go into the second half. On the other hand, the Warriors have played well. They've been able to throw the ball. I understand from Brent that Desmond Savage 6 for 11 in passing, so they've been able to move the ball. They have the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. They trail by only 5 here as we go to the second half. Good, again, weather has settled down nicely. I think we're going to see a very exciting football game like we expected and like we saw in the first half.
Let's hope so. The wind's been a factor, but not a factor. Does that make sense?
Hey, fellas, let me give you a little hint. Ryan Wright, the young man who was a kicker for Kecoughtan, right? He just kicked a ball through the uprights from the 40-yard line.
Well, that's what I was saying. I thought, and I hope Kecoughtan doesn't regret not going for the field goal there at the end of the first half. Here's the stats, very even in first downs, rushing yards, favoring a little bit towards the Phoebus Phantoms. Pass completions, 6 of 11 was Kecoughtan, 1 for 2 for Justin Wright and the Phantoms. 91 yards of passing against 18, then 125 total yards for the Phantoms, 110 for the Warriors. 4 penalties on the Kecoughtan, 2 on Phoebus. No interception, no fumbles, so very clean played game on a wet and windy night.
Very close game.
And it's not that wet, but it's just enough that it's hard to make a sharp cut. But the wind is what's really affecting everything. And I'm like you, Frank. I would have gone for the field goal because the chances they're making a long pass, too many things can happen, and 2 of them are bad. 3 things, you complete is good, interception, and then incomplete is not good. So I'd have gone for the the field goal because you got the wind, and I mean it is blowing right at the young man's back.
Yeah,
interesting to see what happens in the second half. Kecoughtan should get the wind at their back at the fourth quarter.
Well, we got a few good replay roll here for the fans at home. Here's the first one. That's Becknell showing you his speed right up the middle, about a 20-yard carry there early in the first half. You see Becknell again. This is the first touchdown for the Phantoms. He crosses the goal line, dragging a few Warriors behind him. Jamari Becknell with about 100 yards. Desmond Savage had no place to go, brought down by Andre Smith there, a sack for the Phantoms. Now Kecoughtan starts rolling. DeQuandre Edwards with the run up there, one of the first forward motions of the night. There's Tyler Chris with a nice catch for the Phantoms here on the pass. And here comes Jason Fugate, one of the most electric players in the Peninsula District. He's up over the middle for a few yards and a first down there. And then he's going to pick up the touchdown, the only touchdown for the Warriors there, as we see him with the run here. Then we see the fake extra point and run in for the 2-point conversion. Now the Phantoms, we're going to interrupt those replays in the first half as the second half now live on the field. So,
and with the kickoff, the Phoebus Phantoms take the ball back to about the 37-yard line.
Fellas, do you notice that how well they run that ball back that time? I was surprised how far he kicked it.
They got a good kick on there, but a nice return. Very nice return to take it down to the 37-yard line. Phoebus will have it 1st and 10 as we start the second half here at Darling Stadium on September 25th, 2015.
The big Jalen Holloway gets an early start at fullback, and he plowed on the road.
Becknell right off the right side, and he'll get it close to the 47, 46-yard line.
That tackle looked like it was the hand of Keith Grandy. Becknell all of a sudden falls down. Somebody got a hand on one of his ankles.
Hey, Chris Grandy grabbed a hold of him as he went through, and it
look at Keith Grandy. He's on the ground. That just smacked him with his arm. A good stop by Grandy, who's better known as a receiver, but good defender right there. There's Becknell again.
Becknell takes it over the right side. He'll get back to about the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
Well, you notice Anthony Davila that time pushed backwards into the runner. That's the first time we've seen that. That kind of pushback from the Warrior line. First down for the Phantoms. So Becknell over 100 yards now, for sure.
Oh, yeah. He had 92 toward the end of it.
Averaging 115 coming in per game coming into this, so 102 yards now.
Yeah, Brent just told us he has 102 right now. So Justin Wright leads the Phantoms up to the line of scrimmage.
And importantly, Kecoughtan will have the win at their back in the fourth quarter as they trail this one.
Gets it, comes over near side. Can he get turned? No, he gets to about midfield.
So a good tackle there. Becknell not able to get the corner. He picks up a few yards. You see his speed. He accelerates as well as anybody that we've seen all year long.
I want to see what happens if he ever makes that edge and gets to turn.
Well, we first met him last year, the game, and I think it was either against Bethel or against these Kecoughtan Warriors where Peyton Ryder and Holloway alternating fullback and just plowing the road for him. He picked up nearly 200 yards, over 200 yards that night.
Over 200.
There he goes again.
Gets it again, and this time he goes off the right side. Whoa, he is met quickly.
That's his running back counterpart, Jason Fugate, that got him that time. And that's what you need. You need a lot of speed to catch him going laterally like that. He's just going to keep going out until he sees a hole.
Fugate got him and just stood him up straight and held him right there.
Wind is picked up out there now as I'm watching the umbrellas here on the Kecoughtan side get blown backwards. I'm not saying it's windy, but Mary Poppins just went by. It's
no, it was just her umbrella that went by too.
Yeah, that's right.
3rd and 8
was chasing her.
3rd and 8 here now for Justin Wright. He's back to pass. He's throwing it out here, and
way out in front there of Trey Hamlin didn't have a chance. He was still going sideways. Pass was further downfield than he was going.
Yeah, coaches up here were yelling, grab the ball, but it's a forward pass. It was an incomplete pass.
So we'll see what Elijah Nelson, the punter, can do with the wind at his back. And I would anticipate he could, if he wanted to, drill it into the end zone easily. Nelson in his second year as a punter for the Phantoms. Kecoughtan trying to get a player off the field as they still have trouble getting the right number out there. We've seen it a couple times.
High center. Kick is more of a line drive type. It'll go out somewhere around the 22-23-yard line.
I think it's being brought up.
Brought up further and
29,
further.
yeah. Well, off the side of his foot, not a good punt at all.
Yeah. They didn't put a whole lot into it. It's like he wasn't going to kick it up and into the wind. He tried to keep it low again for whatever reason. I would think right now with the wind, you want to go ahead and let that sucker go up and not, real far, but far enough to where let the current carry it.
Well, good defensive stop for the Warriors. Now the Phantoms have to see if they can't put a stop on the Kecoughtan offense.
As when Savage gets it, he'll hand it off to Fugate. Fugate will try the middle, and he won't get anything at all. The Phoebus Phantom defense standing up again and doing a good job of trying to shut down the Warrior running game.
There's Keyshawn Battle Patterson, number 88, Andre Smith, number 8, Anthony Davila playing both ways tonight, number 75, and Taekwon Johnson, number 62, all doing a good job there. Blocking up the in the middle, making the Warriors break outside. That time couldn't turn the corner.
And that's where they want them, and that way they can just pin them in. And
in motion. This is Edwards.
Gives it to
Andre Edwards.
Who gets over the 35-yard line and keeps on going, and he's past the 40-yard line, just moving and moving and moving.
He is one of those players that doesn't get a lot of acknowledgement, but he continues to pick up yardage.
Watch this.
Brent's got the yardage for DeQuandre Edwards.
Look at him.
See him
He's
hit
once, twice, 3 times. Look at this. Spins away from 3 people. Hit again. Still moves.
If you're Phoebus, you're saying you didn't wrap him up.
Yeah. No, they didn't.
They tried, and they couldn't get a hold of him.
Savage back to pass. Finds,
right off the hands, too. And that Savage had time that time, and that's Keith Grandy again. He's had trouble tonight picking up the ball.
Marlon Carter, number 7, if he'd been paying attention, the ball was dropping right in his arms, and he could have intercepted that almost.
Hey, let me tell you about that pass. That pass was behind him. He had to reach back to get him. I'm surprised he got his hands on it because he was sliding, trying to reach back and get that ball. That ball was not, you got to throw it where the player's going to be, not where he was.
Yeah, I wish you could see it up here, Bob. It just bounced off him and onto Marlon Carter's shoulders.
That time the running back again picks up a few yards. That's DeQuandre Edwards again.
Yep.
Fellas, it's wind picking up and the rain is picking up a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of the umbrellas turning upside down over here in the Kecoughtan side as they are trying to get them up with the rain coming. Well, Edwards going to get a breather for Kecoughtan. Desmond Savage gets his play on the sideline. Third down about 7.
Third down about 6.
Where you look for Tyler Chris, the tight end. He's on the near side.
Looks a few games. Oh, he's going to pass. You're right. Doesn't have anybody to pass it to. Good coverage. Oh, nice. Nice heads-up play by the quarterback.
Great example of keeping your eyes down the field.
Amen. You hit that right on the head, Bob.
Fugate with a catch that time.
You could have seen it from here. He just looked and looked and looked like he wasn't going to find anybody. He kept moving and keeping his head and his eyes downfield to see if something would open up. Sure enough, it did.
He looks more like the quarterback we saw last year than the first couple, 3 games we saw him this year. Really looks good.
Yes. Oh, Fugate loses the ball.
He dropped it twice last week, too. He's had trouble, and it's always in the exchange. Rarely do you see it pried out of him. It's at the exchange. I think he got it back. No signal yet.
You're right, Frank. It's definitely an exchange, and it looks like he was not sure how he was supposed to get the ball that time.
Well, you know, often we saw, particularly last week, he had 2 fumbles last week. He keeps his head up. He's watching downfield. It may start downfield before he's got the ball secure. So 2nd and 12 now.
Savage it back, runner in motion, goes back to pass. Looking long and throwing it out of bounds. It looked like Christ was his intended receiver.
Well, it was. He had Grandy cutting across on the slant who was open, and he overthrew him trying to go to Chris, and Chris had double coverage, and he threw it out of bounds.
Yeah.
Top of that.
Wales, so it's going to be about 3rd and 12.
A little rain on the lens there. Showing you the rain is picked up. Umbrellas are up here on both sides. They brought a full-blown canopy over there on the Phoebus side.
I got my hat on, guys.
But you know what?
At
We're
least
in the
for
booth.
now, yeah. It's dry in here.
Yeah, real dry. Savage looking to pass again. He's got.
Yeah, he's not helped there. Chris right off the hands of Tyler Chris. Chris has caught the tough ones tonight and dropped the easy ones.
Looked like he started to make the move before the ball got there, and that's a common mistake of receivers.
All right. That's what I was just going to say, Bob. You could see it from here. His head went elsewhere.
Well, his punishment is he's going to punt into the wind. So let's see if Tyler Chris, now he can have as much effect here on helping his team by trying to pin the Phantoms down there, but he's got to punt into this breeze.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the punt looks like.
That's
Not
a good
bad.
punt. And he can get it out of bounds. Oh, that's a beautiful punt.
What a great punt.
6-yard line.
Well, again, you make up for the little bit of a drop.
Wow.
And so Chris is going to pin the Phantoms back with the wind in their backs, though. They have 6 minutes and 19 seconds more.
Watch this. This was a great punt against the wind. Really great. And that ball will bounce and roll right out at the 6-yard line.
Hey, Frank.
Yes.
Wasn't that against the wind? Doesn't that sound like a song title or something?
There you go. Well, don't start singing yet, Bob. We still have football fans watching.
Not me. I'm just the guy sitting next to you want to start singing.
What do you want to hear?
So here come the Phantoms again. They second drive of the second half. Timeout called.
Somebody's calling something. I'm not sure what they're doing. Refs are talking to one another, but
I think they're going to reset the clock.
Out.
Please reset the game clock to 5:43. 5:43.
5:43.
Surprised it wasn't set back further, actually. And a change of possession there. Ball out of bounds. Clock ran the whole time. So the clock reset to 5:43.
Phantom starting at about the 5-yard line. Of course, they give it to Hacknell. Hacknell goes off the right-hand side, gets near the 10-yard line. Pickup of about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Good tackle that time. Missed the number for the Warriors, but a real good tackle to stop Becknell. You see Becknell, if he gets any headway at all, it's a 5-yard pickup.
And with the speed, it could be a lot more than that.
Well, he's another one of the good backs that always falls forward, picks up a yard on the tackle. Here he comes again.
Gives it off to Becknell. He comes off to the near side this time. Gets past the 15-yard line down to about the 17-yard line. He'll get the first down easily. So real quickly, the Phantoms take that hole that they were in and they open it up. And they're getting near the 20-yard line where they'll have some more open room. But frankly, they probably don't need it, according to Bob Hintz. They just keep right on playing that smash mouth football and running and running and running and running.
Well, I got to compliment Kai Carson again. He and his guard on that side, Devin Gates, They have been opening up holes left side. Now they go right. Got a motion out there.
I don't know whether that was the Warriors or whether that was off Phantoms.
You got a lineman that kind of moved his arm a little bit, and they got him for movement.
I saw Kecoughtan Warriors
By
start
the
moving
snap,
quick, but
encroachment on the offense, lining up in the neutral zone. 5 yards, first down.
That's an interesting call. I don't think I've ever heard it referred to as encroachment by the offense. Lining him in the neutral zone.
yeah.
It's offside, but in any event, 5-yard penalty on the Phantom. That moves them back 1st and 15.
And Becknell gets it, and whoa, he is hit right at about the 10-yard line. He was hit
Well,
and
we got a
down.
holding call.
That was Phantom's number 5. That's Trey Hamlin. They're trying to get the
was
ball
Hamlin?
to Hamlin, who's shown some electric return so far tonight. We got a chop block on the Phantoms. They're going to go back even further. Chop block means the defender is engaged with one blocker and another offensive blocker comes and
Personal
hits him.
foul, chop block on the offense. Half distance
So
to the
we've
goal, first
Half
down.
the distance, first down still, but it's going to move it back about 8 yards. Back to almost, well, it looks like the 6-yard line.
Put them back where they started.
Yep. So first and over 20 yards now for the Phantoms. Rain and wind picking up. Probably the understatement of the game.
Yeah, it is really picking.
The Phantoms in a little disarray. They're going to call timeout and try to put it back together.
Fellas, you might want to count the number of Phantoms out there. I think there was only 10 out there.
Yeah, there was. The coach was up here yelling that they only didn't have 11, and that's because they only had 10.
Well, Kecoughtan showing a little life here defensively. We've seen kind of an up and down game. Phantoms have moved the ball easily in a couple of drives, and then again they've been stopped. This time they're stopping themselves so far.
And it looks like Mr. Momentum has been just bouncing back and forth and then taking a break every now and then.
You see the raindrops on the camera lens there. Give you a little idea of what we got here. Wind blowing still out of the east northeast here.
And those look like they look like amoeba from my science class
that's right,
back in
yeah.
college.
That camera's right here next to me, so I can give you an idea. That's the camera we have inside showing you outside. Or of course our Grand Poobah down there, Andy Foley, set us up here. We're dry. All the good cameramen down the field are, and the ones on the corners, Susan Bowers and Wube Gabray up here on the stands, and Ron Baton and Steve Fry.
And Brent Musgrove on the binoculars.
Well, those are just his regular reading glasses.
Oh, is that
you
what
should
that
see
is?
the binoculars. Good trap that time.
Becknell, and he's going to get taken down right at about the line of scrimmage.
Boy, I tell you, that block that time, Kyrie Green comes over to try to cut Tyler Chris. That was a mean-looking block. Is Chris able to just get his hands on the running back, and then he is cut off, kind of cut in half of the block. But not enough to free him up, and Kecoughtan able to haul in back now, 2nd and long.
Back in about 20.
There's one of our camera folks up there. I can't even get a view on, really.
Susan
That's Susan
Bauer.
Bowers. She's on the east end. She's on what we'd call the weather side of the press box. Meanwhile, Wube Gabray down here on the lee side is feeling a lot better and drier. Another timeout. Phoebus all in disarray, Paul. What happened?
I don't know. I've been trying to figure this out.
They were not on the same page with the coach put them on. They acted like a guy came in late, didn't know where to line up. By the time he was lining up, they got a 5-yard penalty for delay of game.
We know, Bob, they've gone to handing the ball off to Trey Hamlin. They're trying to get some touches, and they can't get it to him in the air, so they're trying to hand it to him. Did that have anything to do, or is Becknell, is he been slowed?
He has been hit and hit hard tonight. And you got to look at the size. He's what, about 5'9", maybe 170 soaking wet. And that's why you see a lot of time a guy reach out with a hand and grab a hold of his jersey and down he goes.
Right. We saw him get.
Look at this.
I see the
This
big,
is
that's what I was
a
talking about on the
tent
far side.
that you use at the beach.
Yep. Well, it's a good
And
one to have
It's
tonight.
about, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people under it.
And if they live to the west of the stadium, all they need to do is really stand up and they get a ride home.
All right, so let's see what the Phantoms can do here. Of course, they hand it off.
Yeah, an end around there.
And this one looked like number 13.
No, 12, Andre
number
Jackson.
12, Jackson.
So
picked up some yardage there.
there's some really hard hitting going on out there, and I mentioned the block on Crisp by number 28, Kyrie Green. That time, that is big Anthony Davila hopping off there. That's a big loss for the Phantoms, as he's a two-way player. But again, that end around Andre Jackson produced a few yards, but one injury, a very important injury.
Fellas, the wind has picked up. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
We need a dome. 3rd down and 8, a more manageable situation for the Phantoms here. After now we have another tent on the other side of the field there on the screen. Back to pass and wide open. And I can't get the number there.
It was
but
Jackson again. Andre
Jackson?
Jackson all of a sudden it appeared in the offense and doing very well. Jackson with the reception. Jackson actually held, and I'm surprised there was no flag, and it could have been, it would have been blown right off the field. But Jackson was held as he was making his cut, and able to wiggle free. You'll see it here. He's at the bottom of your screen. He's already been held, and he's able to wiggle free and then make the catch for the first down. So a big play and 2 good plays by Andre Jackson, the juniors, 5'10", 160-pounder.
Nice pass by Justin Wright also, who hands it off.
And again, that is number 5, Trey Hamlin. So Becknell not in the backfield.
Fellas, you got to take your hats off to that Kecoughtan defense. They are really quick getting to the ball. Very fast. And that's what you talked about earlier, the size of them. They're not as big as some of the defenses, but they got a lot of quickness.
The play being sent in from Elijah Nelson, the receiver brings it in. Holloway at fullback, but it looks like Hamlin at tailback.
Blitz showed, back to pass, another slant pattern. This time it bounces off and it'll fall incomplete. It looked like number 10.
Keith Grandy, I think, on the near stop, either Grandy or DeQuandre Edwards. The near pick.
Elijah Nelson, the target intended. That's going to bring up 3rd and 10 now for the Phantoms.
So no Becknell in the backfield. That's Trey Hamlin.
Let's go, Keith.
Justin Wright getting his players set. So without Becknell, there's a little bit of switching around. Hamlin comes out of the backfield.
Another quick pass toward the back, and this is number 12, Hamlin. Jackson, excuse me.
It may have been Jackson again.
Jackson again, number 12.
Did he make the catch? I didn't see who made the catch. Yeah.
Number 12.
We couldn't save him that time.
Return.
But he's playing. I'm going to look to see if I see Becknell on the far side.
Fourth and 6. Phantoms back in punt formation.
Elijah Nelson get the wind in his back here for another minute 25. Let's see if what he can do with that. Had one punt already this half off the side of his foot. He's got a second one
Off the side of his
on
foot
his side
again.
of it, and
It'll go out of bounds.
that one bounced up near the 45. That's going to be way up there. 47, 48, 48.
48.
So Kecoughtan with a great starting point and a minute 16 to go, and they'll have the wind at their back.
Hey, fellas, the kicker is just, I think he's more worried about the wind than anything else and trying to get it high. And every time he's done it, he's kicked it out of bounds to the right and has given a short punt. Kecoughtan going to have the wind to their back in about a minute and a half.
They are that. But right now they've got the ball with a minute and 16 left here in the 3rd quarter, and it's on the 48-yard line.
I see Jamari Becknell on the bench. Seems to be okay. They're drinking a little Gatorade over there.
Savage hands it off. I don't think that was.
That's DeQuandre Edwards, I believe. Well, Edwards again picking up a good chunk of yardage on first down.
Time ticking down, under a minute here.
Well, Bobby, you know, compared to what we saw last week from Kecoughtan, all of a sudden Coach Coley has just a plethora of running backs that are picking up positive yardage. They're not relying on Fugate at all from the running back position.
Well, if you remember last week, he didn't run the ball all that much.
He really didn't. And that time Edwards fumbled the ball.
A fumble, and the Phantoms have picked it up, and they'll take over at about their own 43-yard line. A big turnover for the Warriors, a big pickup for the Phoebus Phantoms.
I'd like to see that again, because obviously no replay here.
I didn't catch that, guys.
That was Edwards with the fumble. Here he comes. You'll see him take the ball. He goes.
Oh, he's down.
He looks like he's down.
He's down.
I'm surprised.
He's
They're going to call it a fumble. That's where replay would come in handy. Coley's going to be hot about that one. I'm sure his coach is up here, and I'm surprised one of them hadn't come behind us to look at the replay screen. But
here comes
you'll see it here.
Again.
Another angle here. Get a better angle.
Let's see if we can
see
the
it. Ball. He's down. And
ball.
Ball was out by the time we see him come out of the pile. But nevertheless, 1st and 10 for the Phantoms from their own 42.
Well, the Phantoms catch a break there. Pitch, and he's going nowhere.
That was Jamari Becknell, so he's back in this series of down.
Yep.
But
no,
it was
number 5, Tri-Hamlin. It looked just like Hamlin, number 5, coming out of there.
No, it was Becknell because Hamlin was standing next to him. So Hamlin goes back to his split end position, and Becknell carried the ball, but he didn't seem to have the acceleration he had early in the game. He may have just taken a series off and let Hamlin again try to get some touches.
And that's the end of the third quarter here at Darling Stadium. The score still remains Phoebus 13 and Kecoughtan 8. Nobody scoring in the third period here. A lot of back and forth, a lot of this and that and the other.
Well, if you're the Phantoms, you've got to worry about the fact that you're going to have to go into the wind. They're only going to get a couple possessions here in the fourth quarter. We've seen with the focus on the running game. Here's the fumble again. This is a big play here. You see he's got the ball,
down.
Knee down, and ball now out.
It's not even close.
Well, I'm sure there's some officials.
We're seeing it in slow
advantage.
motion. We're not seeing it in real time.
And we're far away with that view, but it's going to be second and about 8 for the Phantoms here from their 44 headed into the wind and rain.
No snow?
Not yet. If it was snow, we would have closed the whole thing down much earlier. You know that. He didn't even mention the word snow in City of Hampton. We closed down. So Becknell back in the backfield.
And that's
Justin Wright, and that gives him 2 options because he's got Hamlin out, split out to the left.
Becknell's what they needed. He's the one that's been carrying them this entire game. This time they're going to pass down the sideline. It goes incomplete.
That time, I believe, it wasn't Hamlin they throwing to. Elijah Nelson, the big punter, who's also a receiver,
He was double covered. I'm very surprised he threw that ball to him.
Well, he had Hamlin open in the flat, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And Hamlin has just been electric on returns, and I know they're trying to get him some touches. Let's see what they can do to get him the ball.
Justin Wright,
well played.
Like he was gonna.
Ooh, and there's going to be something in the backfield. Going to be a late hold, I think.
Just got some information from Brent in the third quarter. Phoebus High School, 56 yards rushing in the third quarter. 4 different backs.
Yeah.
Total of 56 yards. There's
Jackson.
Brent. Poke your head in there again.
Andre Jackson had a good appearance, but that hold right there is going to make it 3rd and long instead of 4th and short for the Phantoms. Good decision by Coach Coley to move it back.
Hello.
So back we go. 3rd and about. Boy, that is a costly penalty. 3rd and 20 now for the Phantoms.
Fellas, that was a spot foul. That's why it was so long.
And he
was
actually,
back in the backfield.
Bobby also actually moved it up a little bit to help the Phantoms, but still it very costly.
3rd and 19.
Right up the middle. Whoa.
Ooh. Just over the 35-yard line, 36. So it's going to be 4th and long.
Well, big penalty there to stop the Phantoms' drive. 4th and long from the 38, and Nelson he's had 2 bad punts with the wind. Now he's got to kick into the wind.
Or does he?
Oh, I guarantee you they're not going to let him run around the end twice in a game. I would certainly think Coley knows about that play.
By now at least, yes. Keep it low and hope he can drive it.
This is Stevenson back.
Nice drive. But it
From
just
a Frisbee
dies.
punt.
It dies.
Not only that, it had some backspin and rolled back almost to the 40.
Well, there's a halfway decent punt actually in this win.
That is the worst spot I think I've seen they've ever do.
Well,
Moved it back to 47. I thought for sure it was at the 37, at the 39, because it was spinning backwards.
Yeah.
Well, they got.
Whoa, where are they going?
Well, the spot is on the 37, 1st and 10 for Kecoughtan. They've got 10:35 here in the 4th quarter, and they trail by 5 points.
All right, 37-yard line.
Let's
1st and 10. 10:35 left in this game here at Darling Stadium. Desmond Savage with the wind. Gives
Fugate.
it to Fugate. Fugate around the right side. He'll fall across the 40-yard line. Watch the wind here. Watch the kicker throwing grass. Look at the grass
Hit him
goes.
right in the helmet, didn't
Look
he?
at that. Yeah, look at him. Look at this. Now you have an idea of what the wind is like, folks. Great camera shot.
He's had a tough night, but he's nothing you can do about it now.
Oh. 2nd and 6 for Savage. He's going to pass, and he had a person, and it's been intercepted by the Phantoms. And it looks like number 27.
Yep, Shadarius Horn.
He's still with the ball.
And there's a penalty on the sideline. And the Phantom, and the penalty, there's going to be a penalty, I think, tacked on against the Warriors. The Warriors bench or somebody on the sideline. Coach was literally hopping mad over here near us. So a good pickoff. We'll see that the ball bounced out of the receiver's hands. Kecoughtan doing everything they do to hand this game to Phoebus here in the 4th quarter. They're going into the wind.
Good job of it here.
Bounces
ball
out of the
bounces
hands.
up, tips it. It's
Horn
good
with the pickoff.
hands. Horn did a good job to bring that ball in. He's staying up on his feet.
Horn, the starter at middle linebacker. So there's a flag over here against Kecoughtan. Lots of discussions.
Great interception for the Phantoms at this time.
Wind in the rain has picked up. Well, the wind in the rain has picked up.
Bob lost his hat. Look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, at least he wasn't on his bicycle.
Oh, that wasn't even fair.
Illegal participation on Kecoughtan after the interception. We'll go half the distance to the goal.
A player
First down.
I think, ran on the field during the play.
Half the distance to the goal.
Yeah, he ran on the field during the interception.
Good gracious.
That's why the coach was livid.
They just can't do that, fellas.
Well, they have really shot themselves in the foot here at the end of the 3rd and beginning of the 4th.
That reminds me of the college game where the kid come off of the sideline and tackled him.
And
You remember that?
The play wasn't anywhere near the player. Player was nowhere near going to make the tackle.
Oh, man.
So Becknell behind Holloway.
Justin Wright takes it and goes right up the middle, picks up some yardage. Phoebus in the catbird seat now. On that interception, a big play for the Phantoms here tonight.
That time Kai Carson comes up limping. Big left tackle has had such a good night. He's going to go over and take a break. We put another large human being in there for Phoebus, number 78, Tim Young, a sophomore, 6'3", 280.
Justin Wright gives it to Becknell. Becknell dancing around, trying to find somewhere to go. He can't get too much yardage.
No, Tyler Chris with a nice tackle, yeah.
There's the rain coming down on the cameras there. Nice shot by our camera crew.
Well, Becknell's having trouble trying to get outside because his defense is so quick, guys, and he needs just to look at a seam where he can go straight ahead.
Well, he's got Holloway in front of him.
But they're not giving him much of that seam. There he goes again, trying to find one. He goes over top this time.
He literally rolled over Holloway, I believe. That was a real nice run by Becknell.
Well, Bob, he must have heard what you said because he hadn't been able to find anything. He decided to find something for the top and just jumped over everybody.
Yeah, you did. Sometimes that's the quickest way to get there. If you can't go through them, go over them. He can't go around them. Every time he tries to go around, it seems like he loses yardage.
Well, they've only got about 2 or 3 yards to go for a score.
That was the substitute, Tim Young, who really pushed out in front. He's the left tackle right now. Carson out, and that time that was his back that Becknell went over.
Right under center,
First
gives it to
goal.
Becknell. Becknell skip it through, and he'll easily go through there. He was hardly even
Too late,
touched.
fellas. We got a hold. He's going to come back.
Now they're going to be a hole, and they'll bring that back 10 yards.
Yep.
Late hold, too, Bob, right in the backfield.
The flag was thrown after he scored, but it was an obvious hold.
Well, that hurts. Each team having trouble getting out of their own way here in the fourth quarter.
10 yards. Replay.
That hurts because it's not half the distance backwards. It's 10 yards back.
It's 10.
The first and goal from the 13.
13 yards, 4 plays. Phantoms moving their ground game, taking advantage of the interception. 13-8 is the score here at Darling Stadium in the fourth quarter. The Phantoms with the lead. They'll give it to Becknell again. Becknell again will go off the side, pick up a couple of yards.
If you look at the defense, guys, it looks like they got some of the defensive personnel are submarining and just taking the legs right out from underneath Becknell.
Well, this one, yeah, they shoot the gap here and grab him right there.
Right there.
Great tackle.
You know, we've been talking about penalties in the second half for the Phantoms. 4 penalties for 33 yards.
That was Kasim Webb with the tackle, I believe.
There's a pass.
Knocked down.
Batted down by the Warriors.
Nobody can hold on the ball.
Not that it matters.
You got to wonder if that hold is going to have the impact it's having so far, which is really making it tough for the Phantoms.
Well, I'm surprised as we see the replay here that they try to pass on that play.
That's David Moody with the knockdown of the pass.
He got up there. Third down, you see where the ball sits right past the 10-yard line. The Phantoms, a running team.
Holloway in front of Becknell in the backfield.
And again, they're going to pass. And then again, Justin Wright brought down as he sacked in the backfield near the 20-yard line.
That's Kasim Webb again.
Hey, he was in there. Nobody blocked him. He just jumped the gap.
That's a huge series for Webb.
A huge series for the Warriors at this point. It's 4th and 11. Excuse me, 17.
Stephon Tompkins is going to come on and try to kick a 34-yard field goal into the nor'easter.
Let's see what he does.
Wind is calmed a little bit.
Here it goes. Down, it's up, and it is short and off to the left.
Did he get a piece of it? And then Caleb Tucker comes up.
I think the wind got there.
Caleb Tucker comes around the corner. Caleb Tucker looks like he's hurt every play. The ankle problem slows him down, but it only slows him down after the play. He came around the right end, or the left end, offensive left end. I thought he may have gotten a piece of it. Let's see the replay.
Let's look right here. It's down. Here's the kick.
Nope, he didn't get a piece of it.
No.
He was almost dead. All right, so the holding penalty just snuffs out the drive for the Phantoms. Kecoughtan loses about 30 yards in that interception, but not a score, and they now have 6 minutes and 37 seconds to drive.
Desmond Savage hands it off to the Fugate again. Yep, and they got him in the backfield that time.
And Bob, I don't know about you from down that perspective, but Tyler Crisp was wide open. He had a man on him trailing him in 20 yards downfield as the Phantoms load up the box to stop Fugate.
What they're going to do, the quarterback's got to do what the coach tells him to do. And that was a run and play all the way, led by Peyton Ryder, was right in on the middle of that stuff. It looked like the linebacker just shot the gap.
Back to pass again. He's being rushed out of the pocket. There's a flag. Throws it downfield.
And it's caught.
And we have a reception, but we got a flag back here. And I think it's going to come back.
Yeah, it was definitely a hold back here, guys.
And the holding penalty strikes again. That's going to cost them about 9 yards, is it?
Here's something interesting here. Brent just gave me this. For the game, Fugate, 14 carries. Any guesses to how many yards?
Offense.
20?
Half of this
38.
is goal. Replay. Second down.
So
38 yards for Mr. Fugate today on 14 carries.
that costs the Phantoms as they
And
move
the
back to
Warriors.
their. Now they keep getting moved back. They keep getting moved back. Now they come back up. 9-yard line.
And it is second and a long.
And they lost another yard on the snap.
I'm guessing it's somewhere around 20 yards here. Excuse me. Second down.
Somehow they've lost. Yeah, they've lost a few yards there, but they're in a hole.
Again, a spot foul, Frank.
Yeah. Oh,
We got another stoppage here. Another flag. Looks like it's going to be against Kecoughtan again.
Prior to the snap. False start. Offense. Half of this to the goal. Second down.
well, they have really in the fourth quarter they've shot themselves in the foot between penalties and interception or fumble, I guess you'd call that.
Yeah.
An interception since he really didn't have control of it before it popped up in the air. Kecoughtan, they're creating a wonderful story if they can win it, but in making it more difficult.
They've only got 5 minutes to try and make it. And right on the goal line, basically. Back to pass from his own end zone. Throws it way out there to nobody except a Phoebus Phantom was within 20 yards of the ball because the intended receiver fell down.
Well, Stevenson comes up limping as well. Cameron Stevenson. He comes up limping. He's the one that fell down on the route. No penalty there. The incidental contact, and he tripped and fell. So
It could be conduct.
it could be. Certainly offensive conduct if you're the coach of the
That's
Kecoughtan Warriors.
Exactly correct. So we're going to have a third down and long, about 24. And again, if you look at the Warrior backfield, they're pretty much in their own end zone with the exception of Savage, the quarterback. He's right on the goal line. And he goes to pass it, and
ball down.
Ooh, fumble, and Phantoms have got it. And they're inside the 10-yard line.
Kecoughtan is just killing themselves. That was number 9, I believe, for Kecoughtan.
Another
Goldie
turnover
Clinton.
by the Warriors gives the Phantoms great field position here with 5 minutes left to go in the game, holding the 13-8 lead.
Fellas, that was a nice screenplay that was set up. The defense just reacted to it and got in the middle of it and caused the fumble.
Well, unfortunately, Kecoughtan, time's running out. Phoebus can control the clock here and pick up a score and put it out of reach.
They
Holloway
give it to
right
the
in the
first
middle.
man through, and he goes right inside the 5-yard line quickly. That, again, was one of those plays we talked about earlier where Kecoughtan showed the blitz, so they give it to the first man through, let the blitzers overshoot him and give him that yardage.
Well, they sent in the beef. They sent 60, 71, and 75 in. And let me tell you, those are some big guys that come in there. You're not going to push them out of the way.
Yeah, but once they go past you, Bob, there's nobody there to stop you, and that's what Holloway did. He just went right by him.
Carson back in on the left side for the Phantoms. They're going to go behind him. That's Holloway
they
again.
Give it to Holloway. Again, he's picking up some yardage, getting closer and closer to the goal line.
We saw Kecoughtan come back last week and score a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter. But it was a different defense last week they were facing.
This Phoebus defense has really played up a little bit today.
Well, they've given up 13 points in 4 games coming in, and now only 8 more. So they're holding up their reputation. One of the best defenses around.
Justin Wright under center again. This time Becknell gets it, and they stack him up. They were waiting for him.
Well, they had Ryder in front of him, but they didn't bite on the fullback. They went right to Becknell.
It's going to make it 3rd down.
Oh, fourth
down, excuse me.
And this is where you
I'm
don't kick the ball.
surprised. Hey, Frank, I'm surprised Kecoughtan hadn't called the timeout. They got 3 timeouts out left, and it's almost under 3 minutes.
It basically is under 3 minutes.
Yeah, they are going to kick the field goal. That's exactly what I would do. Puts them up by 8.
Yeah.
And it's a close field goal. I know that there's breeze out there, but it has slacked off a little bit. This is Tonkins, Stefan Tonkins. His 2nd attempt from this end of the field.
Ooh, he got that one up.
He got it.
Right through there. Nice kick.
A real good set there. And a good kick, timely kick, 16-8 now, Phoebus. 2 minutes,
really
43
puts
seconds.
The pressure on the Warriors because now they have to have 8 points to tie this game. So they've got to get not only a score, they've got to go for a 2-point conversion as well in order to tie this game.
Well, the Phoebus Phantom defense really tightened up here in the toward the end of the 3rd quarter, and then here in the 4th quarter. They have tightened up beautifully. Kecoughtan scored, what, at 1st quarter, right?
1st quarter, and that was it.
And they haven't scored since and really hadn't gotten close. Of course, they've been their own worst enemy in this half.
You know, a couple turnovers will jumpstart your offense for you.
It really will. Again, though, you got to admire Kecoughtan. They've only given up 16 points against a very high-power offense.
They have. Offense that features Becknell, the running back, who has 28 carries tonight for 122 yards. Not a bad night for the young man again.
Well, here's Tonkins, who's feeling his oats now. He's kicked the field goal, which helps. That was, I don't know what that was, but no time comes off the clock. Tonkins very excited, but he didn't set himself at all. He just ran up and kicked it. I'm not sure the coach is going to be happy with that. That's going to be 1st and 10 on the 30.
Could be 35.
35, yeah. So a shorter field, winning the back, and 2:43 to go. This game's not over yet.
Yep. 2:43 with 3 timeouts.
Well, the Phoebus front line out there, and you see them
Free kick
getting
out of
ready.
bounds, untouched
Anthony
by all on the
develop
kicking
back
team.
in action.
The ball will be placed 25
Ty
yards
Carson.
from the previous spot. First down.
Can't see the number here on the end. It's Carson or it's Sean Battle Patterson has had a really good night. It is Carson.
Desmond Savage
Davila
back on the 30-yard line. He gives it away to Fugate, who comes back, and he is dropped in the backfield near the 31.
That's Peyton Ryder, and
Is
it
that
looked like Anthony Hawk is who it looked like from the Green Bay Packers. That was a terrific play by the linebacker. Ryder had a beat on him.
Both of them did a good job.
So not a good start. Clock keeps going. I'm a little puzzled, Bob, why there's no timeouts called. Got 3 of them.
You're not the only one that's puzzled.
You going to take them home with you tonight?
Well, you can't take them on the bus. They won't let you.
No, I didn't think so.
You're going to have to throw it at least so you can stop the clock.
Savage across the side to the
Alec
40. Christ.
Now, why you don't call timeout here, I don't know. But
I don't know, but we need to think about players of the game.
Well, first time we've seen Becknell all year, but what a performance.
You think?
100 and some yards.
Excellent performance.
You can't sort out the lines. Both lines for Phoebus have played extremely well. There's Fugate.
There's Fugate. Get to the outside now. He gets halfway. He gets down to the 40-yard line and past that. One of the few times tonight Fugate was able to turn the corner once he got to the 50, and he turned it upfield. They're going to mark it at the 35.
Well, I called him last week a wound spring, and that's what he is. When he gets it open the field, I mean, he can really turn it on. Good play here. Comes inside, then he bounces it out.
Right there.
Nice block by the receiver in front of him.
So from the 35-yard line with 1:29 to play, Desmond Savage trying to lead the Warriors to the end zone. He's back to pass.
Karan Nixon, who was in motion, he drops the ball. Nixon moves out in motion, comes back in, had to pass, and hand drops it. Kecoughtan continues to drop their opportunities here in the second half. Only good news is the clock stops.
Second down and 10. Still from the 35 of the Phantoms. We're at Darling Stadium, September 25th, 2015. 16-8, the Phantoms over the Warriors at this point. Warriors on the move. They give it to Fugate. He gets through. There's only one man up. Now there's nobody. Can he get through there? He gets down to the 3-yard line. Jayceon Fugate with an electrifying run, and the crowd is on their feet.
Hey, he was coming right at me, and he was using his blocker the best I've seen a guy do in a long time. What a great run.
We need to count how many times he zigged and zagged to follow his blockers, and here comes the replay.
Don't miss the play, though. Here they come.
Now watch.
That's Caleb Tucker in front.
2, 3.
All right, here's the snap. Fugate up the middle. Down and boy, that's
on
close.
the goal line.
He didn't get in, though. He's on about the 1 foot line.
About 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Now, you might as well let the clock run because you don't want to give Phoebus too much time. If you think you can score, they got to score and have a 2-point conversion to tie this game up.
Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. This game is really coming down to the wire. Savage leads the team up. You know where they're going to go. They give it to Fugate, and he is rocked. In fact, the Phantoms got to him almost before the ball got to him.
That was one of the slowest developing runs I think I've ever seen. What happened, Bob? Did you see that?
He came flying through there, guys.
But there was a little hesitation by Savage.
Right, well, you're in the shotgun, and you got to take a step over to hand it to your running back. But that time he took the step, the defensive man was there also.
Oh, yeah.
With
that
a big
was
tackle. Number 72 pulls off and goes in on his block. That's
great
Leon
play
Lowry.
by Andre Smith. I mean, he was just lightning in there. Wrapped him solid right there.
Well, they
Great
kind of,
play.
you know, they kind of figured out who was going to get the ball.
Yeah.
So I mean,
think.
I'm not trying to be funny about it, but you know, so you got your linebackers. That's who they're keying on. He shot the gap, and that's exactly where he went for. If he'd have faked the handoff, the quarterback could have rolled to the left and probably scored.
Right. And that knocks you back to about the 3. Third down and goal for the Kecoughtan Warriors.
2 plays left for the Kecoughtan Warriors tonight to try and tie this game up. Fugate 60 yards in the last 3 carries. He now has 94. There he is again, and again he's wrapped up. Once again, this Phoebus Phantom defense is rising to the occasion.
A flag in the backfield. Flag in the defensive backfield. Flag been tossed and moved up. Maybe a hold. It is a hold. My goodness.
There they go again.
Well, again, the only good news is it gets you another
Hold
play.
it. Offense.
Makes it third down and
10
about
yards
13.
from the spot of the foul. Replay. Second down. Timeout. Kecoughtan.
32 seconds left at Darling Stadium. Timely defense by the Phoebus Phantoms.
Frank,
Yeah,
2
Bob.
great defensive plays.
Yes.
And then you shoot yourself in the foot. And you've talked about this all night.
Yeah.
The Kecoughtan has just, 2 turnovers, the penalties, when it hurts them the most.
Well, this is where the Phantoms for years have played for the fourth quarter. You saw it tonight, and I don't know if the folks pick up on it. When that gun goes off the end of the third quarter, they raise their hand with the 4 fingers up. Fourth quarter. This is drilled into Phoebus. I think it's written on the wall down there somewhere.
It's their quarter.
They play the fourth quarter, right? They claim that quarter, and they rarely get outplayed in the fourth quarter.
Well, that goes back to Bill D. He says, I want my guys to be fresher in the fourth quarter than the other team. And that's part of the mystique that they use.
Now,
And that's
Bob,
part of the great defense that they have, too.
Bob, this would be an interesting. It was probably, I would think, an interesting challenge for the coach for Coach Blunt over there. You had 4th down and about 4, and now you've got 2 shots for the Warriors. And they're clearly going to throw the ball. They have 1 timeout left. Watch Tyler Chris here, the tight end. That's where they've been going.
Savage gets it. He goes back to pass. He's going for the end
He's got
zone,
Chris.
and he's
Oh,
got
he
it.
a tough play, but he dropped it.
He dropped the pass.
He had him. He threw it over the defender, and now Chris had to spin around the other way, but it hit him in the hands.
The pass was right there. Right there.
So now 4th and 13.
Fellas, I don't know if you got that in replay. You probably got a better shot than I did. But
We're seeing
that
it
ball
right now.
was in his hands.
And the pass
as
is-
he fell down, it bounced out.
Yep, he
He
bobbled it in his
in
hands.
the air.
He had it. He turned around. The ball was there, and it bounced out of his hands. Chris has had a tough night tonight. He's caught some very tough passes, and he's dropped some easy ones. That was a tough pass and dropped again. So now 4th and 13. And you got to look back to Chris, though. You got to keep dance with the one that
you
brung
also,
you.
we're all forgetting something too. Yes, he may have dropped the pass, but why? Good defense. They were right there on him. He didn't have a whole lot of room, and yes, the ball was there. Yes, he probably should have caught it, but tight defense, good coverage on the Phantom part, good defense. It comes down to this with 26 seconds left.
Well, I'll tell you this, Paul. That was Savage's best pass of the night. He put it over the defensive back who had him, who was covering him like a blanket. But here we go. This is what we're waiting for. Last play of this drive.
And we're going to have a timeout here.
I'm called by Phoebus, so they wanted to take a look at the line and the setup there by the Warriors. Savage, though, has really showed himself to be back on his game tonight, despite the fact that we've had a couple drives and we've had the interception. Interception wasn't his fault. But he has shown himself to be able, he's certainly been more precise this week than he was last.
In the second half, Kecoughtan, 10 attempts, 3 completions, 1 fumble, 1 interception.
Yep. And that's the Phoebus defense. It's caused a lot of that. Both coaches are going to take some things away from tonight to work on.
Speaking of work on, we've got to work on Kecoughtan. I got a pretty good idea of who we're going to say is the Phoebus player of the game. Well, come up one for Kecoughtan. I know who it probably should be.
I've got 2 in mind.
Because he started out not having a lot, and then boom, here it comes, folks. Savage back. He's looking, he's looking, he's looking, he's looking, he's looking, he's looking.
He got him in the back of the end zone.
There he is, all by himself. Touchdown, Warriors.
We all
in
saw
the back of the end zone, wide open, not a player within 5 yards of him.
That's Keith Grandy. We've been waiting to catch the ball all night. Grandy, we all could see him. Everybody, the coaches up here saw him. We all saw him open. And man, great offensive line work and great dancing away from Savage, who's been harassed all night by this great line of the Phantoms. Look at that. And there he
is. Look at that.
And look at keep his feet in. Beautiful play. So now they have to score the 2-point conversion to tie this ball game. And I think every fan in this place would like to see a little more football. This has been one exciting game. The Phantom.
Whoa, I tell you what, here it comes. This is the biggest play to this point. Up until then, that catch was the biggest point. The Warriors have to have the 2 points.
Yeah,
Desmond Savage with it. And they're not going to get the 2 points. Savage is sacked in the backfield at the 10-yard line with 16 seconds left. And it appears the Warriors are going to fall a conversion short of tying this game here at Darling Stadium.
What an exciting ball game.
Oh, man.
I know they're disappointed, but that is a terrific end. Great defense again for the Phantom. They've done a terrific job.
A great football game for the city of Hampton.
Really was.
2 teams really primed for one another. 2 teams back and forth as we see this attempted 2-point conversion. Savage tried to spin out of the way, couldn't do it, and he is just swarmed by 4 or 5 Phoebus Phantom defenders who bring the player to the ground to basically end
Bob, if you
this
noticed,
game.
the back there was Karan Nixon, not Jason Fugate. And you have to wonder if it had been Fugate, would they have respected that fake more?
I don't know what they would have not, but Fugate went out on the pass pattern, and Peyton Ryder knocked him down.
Yeah,
so that was probably the number one go-to.
Well, that's Keyshawn Battle Patterson was the tackler there.
But you got to look at these two. These teams grew up together. They're from the same neighborhood. They know each other. You know, there's a lot of emotion going on in these games. And, you know, you can't say Kecoughtan didn't play good. They played well. Phoebus played well. Both teams. It's sorry that somebody's got to lose.
Well, just a couple of mistakes for the Warriors, but they sure proved themselves worthy of being out here tonight. As the Ross Mugler, our Commissioner of Revenue, and our Chairman of the School Board, Martha Mugler, there. Their daughter, Ann Logan, one of the members of the Kecoughtan cheerleading squad.
You notice this new rule, they got to have at least 4 guys on one side of the ball.
All right, Frank, players of the game. We know who Phoebus is going to be. It's going to be?
Oh, we're going to Jamari Becknell, of course, for Phoebus.
Jamari Becknell. And for the Kecoughtan Warriors, I'm leaning toward this guy right there because of what he had and what he did in the last. Yep. Was he the person last week?
No, he was not. Oh. And he had a good outing last week. He had another good one today. And he is the big threat for the Warriors.
He put him on his back in that last quarter because he only had 30 yards, and he's going to end up with about 94, 95 yards for the game. So I like that Jason Fugate as the Kecoughtan player of the game today.
Great play by both sets of lines for both teams. Very impressed with the lines.
Yeah, Brett was just telling me he had 36 yards until his last 3 carries.
Yeah.
That tells you how important he was to this Warrior drive here in the last quarter.
Well, I want to compliment Keyshawn Battle Patterson on that defensive play and the 2-point conversion. He kind of held on to Nixon and he reached out for Savage and he figured out which one had the ball and he was able to get the right one. There's a flag drop there as the officials could have smartly let the clock run out but didn't. They're going to say that the Kecoughtan Warriors, I believe, are offside. They were trying to get into the backfield.
There is no flag on the play for illegal formation.
Yeah,
the clock will start on my whistle.
So the clock starts. That's going to do it here for the game. Is they're going to start and run the clock here. And that does it. Well, that was a terrific ball game, Paul. Welcome back to the booth for 2015. You saw a good one here. You brought with you a good ball game.
Well, I'm glad. Glad I got to see something good, and that's going to be the final right there, ladies and gentlemen. September the 25th, 2015 from Darling Stadium. Phoebus 16, Kecoughtan 14 in a classic battle in a wet, windy, weathered stadium, and a beautiful stadium, Darling Stadium. Great game, like you said. Both teams grew up today.
Well, I'll say this. Kecoughtan made a lot of mistakes in this ball game that probably cost them the ball game. Phoebus played extremely well defensively. I think other schools are going to take this film tonight and really look at it. You can learn a lot about Phoebus. You can learn a lot about Kecoughtan. But I think teams like Hampton and Woodside that are playing extremely well in the Peninsula District are going to learn a little bit about the Phantoms tonight because Kecoughtan held their offense, their high-powered offense, like Bethel did a couple of weeks ago, held it to 16 points.
Yes. They did. So we'll have to see what happens the remainder of the season. Now, one thing we haven't done tonight, Frank, and I'd like you to go ahead and do that. We've got a great crew that puts these games on. Real quickly, tell the people who was on that crew
normally
tonight.
We start with the higher-ups, read them last, the guys with the big titles. We're going to start with them first because the ones that are the stars tonight are the ones out in the rain.
Exactly.
So our director, the producer tonight, Andy Foley, does a great job getting us all together. His booth there, his group in the truck, Krista Campbell, doing the replays for us, Randy Magoli, Renee Camden, and Matt Buckwalter doing a great job in the truck tonight and bringing you this broadcast.
Like the
real
stars
tonight, the 2 guys down the field, Steve Fry and Ron Baton, doing another fantastic job. The picture shot there, the little piece of grass getting thrown, that was wonderful. And then, of course, our up top, Ube Gabray and Susan Bowers. They have done a great job. Of course, Bob Hintz down the field, Brent Musgrove doing the stats for us. It makes it very easy for you and me, Paul.
Yeah, and Frank Edgar and Paul Rowe. We're the 2 guys up here. Why, we don't know, but we have a blast in it. We get the best seats in the house. A great game, a wonderful game. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us tonight from Darling Stadium, September 25th, 2015. Final score once again, the Phoebus Phantoms 16, the Kecoughtan Warriors 14 in a very hard-fought game. See us the next time, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening.